Hello, people. I'm glad to see who's ever here. Right now, we have some other shows running, so I'm not sure how many people I'm going to get in here. It'll be interesting to see. So, what I wanted to talk to you about was yesterday I came on and I said that I had to talk to Sammy Gavano about using one of his videos. So that got back. This is what people do. So then someone went and told Angel that I came out and said I was friends with Sammy Gavano. I never made such a statement. See, this is one of the things wrong with YouTube. You know, like Angel, listen to the people that say ridiculous things. Sammy Gavano will never be my friend. It's that simple. But you know what? When you use someone's property, you got to ask permission. And that's what I did. So I just wanted to put that out there. As for anything else, I'm going to bring on Jeff today, and we're going to start off. We're going to be talking about Joe Gallo. And we'll see where Jeff wants to take it because he's a lot more of an expert on this than me. We got Tommy Stigs coming on today, and we also have on. But we're going to start off with Jeff. Hey Jeff, how you doing?
Pretty good, Lee. Thanks for having me. Glad we could align and do another video. How you doing?
Oh, it was good. We had a good show yesterday too, and I really appreciate it. Anything going on with you? Do you have a show? Do you have a show going on today?
Yeah, I put a show out earlier. I did a topic about a hit that happened in 2018. I'd urge you all to check it out. It was a mob associate that was high up. It was an associate, but he made a lot of money for the family, and he was killed in 2018 in the Bronx in a parking lot. And I talked about the crazy situation that happened and who ultimately did it. And yeah, I would urge you to check it out.
So, I want to start off, we're going to start off with Joey Gallo. He was a very interesting guy because he dared to do something that nobody else would do. Work cultures that kind of defied the Italian culture. And want to give us some, explain to us exactly who Joey Gallo was?
Yeah, I would always consider Joey Gallo to be kind of a revolutionary. He was called Crazy Joe because he just didn't give a shit. He did what he wanted. He surrounded himself with his brothers, and they went to war multiple times. It really started out. Joe Gallo was actually a hitman for the Prohibition crime family back in the 50s. He had relationships. He was a crazy guy, which we've talked about. But, Joe was brought up by a guy, Frank Abadamarco, a guy in Brooklyn, who actually brought him up, and Carmine Persco. They were actually friends, Joe Gallo and Carmine, as kids. Carmine was from Carroll Gardens. Joe was from Red Hook. They were kind of visionaries together. And during the late 50s, early 60s, Joe Profaci actually killed Frank Abadamarco, who, Joe kind of looked at as a father. And that's what set off the first Gallo War. They started going to the mattresses and kidnapping people. But yeah, Joe Gallo on the real skin of it with his brothers was just a revolutionary. He did what he wanted to do. And the only other person I'd compare him to would be Carmine Galanti, who actually kind of did similar things. He just didn't really give a fuck. He did what he wanted to do. And, Joey Gallo, as you alluded to, would end up going to prison. He made some relationships with Leroy Nicky Barnes and some black drug dealers. And then he started acting just totally different. He started palling around with celebrities, and he wanted to do a movie on his life. And ultimately, it just got too much for the mob, and they took him out. Now, Lee, I do want to mention, if you've ever seen The Irishman, which I'm sure a lot of people have, they would lead you to believe that Frank Sheeran killed Joe Gallo. That's complete bullshit.
No.
That never happened.
Yeah. And explain the prison part. When he went into prison, he made friends with the big black gangs. And so his idea was that he lost a lot of power when he was in prison, and he wanted to come out with power. Would you pretty much say that?
Yeah, because keep in mind, during the time he was in prison, Joe Profaci actually died in the late 60s. And I guess Gallo assumed he didn't really believe in much of the leadership that was coming up. Joe Magliocco took over. And he wanted to strengthen his connections. He went to state prison and started meeting people. And look, again, Nicky Barnes was a big-time drug dealer. That was definitely someone that it would be good to know. Now, if you know anything about the mob, that in the 60s, blacks and Italian crime didn't mix. They didn't do that sort of thing. Now, I will say, Tony Salerno had all sorts of numbers runners that were Puerto Rican and Cuban, but
Right.
they never really mixed business, right? They never had, people going out doing hits and things like that. So, yeah, Joey Gallo just got too big for his britches, and ultimately, as the mob does, like they did with Valenti, they just kind of ran out of patience. We lost Lee. It looks like he's having a little bit of a rough connection. I know Lee. I would advise Lee to go call his internet provider, maybe get maybe just faster internet. I've noticed for me, I have a cord that runs through my wall directly from my router right in.
Actually, I jumped off because my phone was ringing.
Oh, all right. I didn't know if you.
Sorry about that.
Connection or something.
Okay. I found the guy's just really interesting, but the fact that the night that he was killed at Umberto's Clam house, who was he with that night?
Yeah, so that night he actually was out celebrating his birthday. He went to, I believe, the Copacabana to see Mickey Rooney, I believe, as far as I know. And that night he decided to go out with his family. He had a new wife, some of his bodyguards and his family, and they decided to go to Umberto's in Little Italy. Now, the interesting thing about Umberto's is actually owned by Matty the Horse Aniello, who was a Genovese high up and very powerful in his own right. He was actually in the restaurant that night. Joe Gallo sits down, and Lee, interestingly enough, he did the cardinal rule when you're in the mob. He sat with his back to the door. That point, Carmine DiBiase, the hitter, walks in and takes care of Joe Gallo. But he was with his family, which you don't see that much in the Mafia. That's not a norm per se. But
Joey Gallo ran out. And Joey Gallo ran out to the road and died. Is that correct?
Yeah, Joey Gallo was shot. He then walked out. And the interesting thing about the whole hit was his wife actually mentioned that the hitter was small, squat, and from her vantage point, Italian looking, which would completely take Frank Sheeran out of the lineup, because if you know anything about Frank, he was a big hulking individual, did not look Italian at all, So it was quite the hit, but anytime, anywhere, that's how gangs work.
Now, I didn't realize that Bobby Barillo was part of his group.
So, yeah, Bobby Borriello, and that's something about the Gambino family, which is interesting. Giovanni, Bobby Borriello, were all at one point part of the Colombo family, and they do certain different things. But Borriello was someone that came up in that group.
And so after he was killed, who took power? Who took power at that point? I know Joey Gallo wasn't in power, but who did that make the incomplete control?
Yeah, I mean, Carmine Persco had been in control and was in control. I mean, once Joe Colombo was rendered, out of commission, obviously, Carmine Persco took over and really has, in certain aspects of his family, have been in control ever since. Carmine Persco, at one point, was friends with Joe Gallo and that crew, but Carmine earned his name, the Snake. He started siding with Profaci, and that's Carmine. Carmine was always, and I think I've talked about this with Joe. I've always found Carmine Persco to be incredibly interesting because he was a manipulative snake. That's how he got the nickname. He at one point was cool with Joey Gallo, and then eventually tried to have him killed, actually. He had to try to have Larry Gallo killed. Carmine Persco would take over and be in control for a while.
And what eventually happened to Larry Gallo?
Larry Gallo survived an attempt on his life. He went to a bar to try to smooth things out with Carmine, and Carmine totally fucked him and basically had him choked to death. Luckily for him, a police officer walked in and he was able to escape. There's actually a picture you can Google where Larry has a deep ridge in his neck, and you can see where he was choked. As far as one of the Gallo brothers is still alive, as far as I know. I believe it's Larry possibly, or one of the Gallos is still alive. But yeah, Joey would obviously meet his end, as we know. I think Albert Gallo is still alive, as far as I know.
Hey Joe, you have any Gallo stories?
Not really. Just nothing that people haven't already heard. I mean, Jeff was on point with a lot of things. The only thing I don't agree with is that whole Carmine the Snake thing. So, but that's just a matter of opinion.
What do you mean?
Why was he Carmine the Snake? Because he went against Joey Gallo?
Well, he was known to be very manipulative. He was friends with Joey Gallo, and then behind the scenes, kind of, and again, it was a smart thing. He's in the mafia; that's what you do. But he was always known to be a bit manipulative, and he again ruined the family because of his obsession with power. He wouldn't relinquish power. But yeah, I guess in the mafia, you do what you have to do, and you have to. He is smart for that realm of things. So I think you're right in that thought. Was he truly?
From what I understand, he had the utmost respect on the streets. He wasn't on the streets that long.
I'm not saying he
was,
didn't. He asked me a question. I just
No problem. That's the great thing. It's good to have disagreements because
it's not it's not like I know the guy. I just his whole situation is very prevalent in my area.
I would say that would almost be similar to like if I'm friends with somebody and I go behind in the back, that's a snaky move. I think that's how you earn the nickname. Now he's in the
hold on 1 second, guys. 1 second. Tommy Stigs, I'll drop you the link in about 15 minutes, okay? Because Jeff has to go somewhere. So we're gonna get some stuff out of the way. Then I'll bring you right in, Tommy.
Jeff, are you training for another fight?
No, I'm just I like this. I train every day. So,
but Jeff, I understand what
Yeah,
I've been up and down with my weight my whole life, and I remember when I started losing weight. The first time I lost a lot of weight, I started going to the gym and stuff, and it gets addicting. The problem is,
I try to never miss a day. It's something that I enjoy doing, and it gives me some peace.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna get to another the Westies. Now, I was just reading something, and you remember the movie with Sean Penn about the Westies?
State of Grace.
State of Grace. Mm-hmm. There was a scene in there where, and I didn't realize the scene. This was kind of played off the scene where the Irish surrounded Castellano was having a meeting with Coonan, and the Irish were ready to go in there and kill everybody. And by the grace of God, Coonan got out of the bar just in time.
That was allegedly, the bar it's a restaurant. It's called Tommaso's. Allegedly, it was there, which is on Bay 8th and 86th Street.
But here's a question. What would have happened if that happened?
It wouldn't have been good for the Westies.
Yeah, it would have been good, but it would have been.
That was the end anyway, because Jimmy Coonan went away, and they were, he was never going to beat the Mafia. Joe knows that. I mean, Jimmy Coonan was, and by the end of it, Jimmy Coonan thought he was in the Mafia. He started acting Italian. He was, and that's, again, the mob is always, because we have to remember, back when Mickey Spillane was in control of the Westies, Mickey Spillane married into a very powerful family. That's how they kind of grabbed control of some of the convention centers and stuff downtown. Jimmy Coonan, if you know anything about his early life, he actually had a beef with Spillane and really, I think, kind of set up through his whole life that he was going to get him back and take over things.
And he did, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Roy DeMeo, as Joe knows, killed him on behalf of Coonan. But yeah, as Joe said, Coonan and the Westies would have been done. That would have been that. The Gambinos would have won that war for sure.
Well, that hit when he hit him, he had several other attempts on him though, where he missed them. Yeah. Is that correct?
Well, and that was the thing. I mean, Coonan set himself up with very dangerous people. They were a dangerous group. I mean, Mickey Featherstone was a lunatic. I mean, a real lunatic. I heard a story. He once beat a guy to death with a pool cue. Like he was a nightmare to deal with. But Spillane was the old guard. You had a young guy that wanted more. He aligned himself with the right people in the West Side and with the Gambinos, and they made a lot of money together. But yeah, as Joe said, that would have been the end if that had happened.
So they had 20 solid years. And I would say this, I think the number one thing that killed them more than anything was alcohol, because a lot of them died of alcohol poisoning. They literally dropped dead in their hallways of alcohol poisoning. How much alcohol did they drink?
There's a film that, it's funny you mentioned that. I'm sure Joe's seen it. There's a film, Sleepers, which is actually one of the characters.
Yep.
Two of the characters in the film are based on real people. And one of them died of alcohol poisoning in the film, and in real life, the guy that was based on actually died as well. But the real end to the Westies was, like really any criminal gang, the FBI. I mean, Rudy Giuliani brought an indictment. Featherstone flips, and Coonan is still. I mean, he's still alive. He's locked up. He'll get out if he survives long enough.
What do you think about Giuliani made a statement that the Westies were the most vicious gang he ever witnessed. What do you think about that?
Well, look, I think when it comes down to it, I'm sure you could put them up there. There were a lot of violent people and groups in the history of New York. I know Joe knows that. Joe's been around longer than I have, but I'd probably put them up there. They were known under one situation. They killed a guy called Patty Dugan. He was a part of the old regime. They cut his head off, took it into a bar, and put it on a bar stool and ordered him a drink. That's the kind of lunatics that they were. But yeah, Coonan was he was a mastermind for sure. But his own, the government came in on him just like everybody else. I would say, to me, some of the more dangerous groups were, the Rudai organization, Albanian Sixth Family, basically at one point in the early 2000s, they were pretty dangerous. Obviously, all the Mafia families, Colombo families, incredibly dangerous. There were some Chinatown gang members that were dangerous, but yeah, the Westies were up there.
And the fact of the matter is, as dangerous as they were, Roy DeMeo took one of them out. So maybe it was Roy DeMeo who was the craziest.
Well, Roy did that, I think, as a favor, and the Gambinos did that as a favor because they knew that setting up with the Westies under Coonan's leadership would be better than old school Mickey Spillane. So I think for them it worked out.
Hey guys, do me a favor. Don't put that pizza thing in here, that pizza mark. Don't put it in, please, because then I'm going to time you out. Tony Pizza's not welcome in this thing, and I don't want his pizza thing put in here either.
Yeah, and I hate pepperoni on pizza, so definitely don't want to see that.
He's been saying a lot of real nasty things that go beyond. His new one is that I go to Oklahoma and I get drugs and bring them into Texas. He just said that. This is just a demented, twisted man.
What about Tommy Karate? He was pretty demented and twisted, huh?
Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a great one in its own right. But, the crazy thing is, guys, as I said, Jimmy Coonan, if he can survive, he'll be 85 years old. But Jimmy Coonan may get out at some point. He's very old. From what I understand, he does quite well in prison, I think, from what I've heard from people that have been in there. And he may get out at some point. I don't know.
Mickey Featherstone is out. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, Featherstone's somewhere in America. I don't know where he is. But.
And what do you think? Can you imagine if Featherstone started his own show? You wonder why some of these guys, if they just popped up on YouTube, a guy like Featherstone, and started telling stories. Can you imagine how interesting that would be?
Yeah, you look at all the people that are not on YouTube would be the most interesting. The ones that are a couple that are interesting, but yeah, Joey Messino, Mickey Featherstone. Featherstone did an interview, I believe in right after he flipped, but that's the last we've heard of him. I heard a rumor that he had passed away. I don't believe that's true, but yeah, he would have stories for days. But the thing with Featherstone, some of the stories that I've heard about him. He was, I think, from what I understand, clinically schizophrenic, as far as I know. So whether some of it was just stories,
but aren't most gangsters?
Yeah, true.
When you really think about it,
sociopathic issue.
Yeah, they all got like severe, deep mental illnesses. There's something I want to talk to you about, Jeff, and I think that it's the right thing to do. Now, you did this thing with John Gotti getting beat up in prison. And once again, it was somebody came out and attacked it yesterday. And I researched it myself, and it happened. It happened whether anybody likes it or not.
But I want to make it clear. Okay,
there's like 100 reports on this.
This is important, though, to say, Lee, and this is where I think we have to understand this. I made very clear in the video, okay, there are things that led up to what went on here. I made it very clear. Walter Johnson was a huge lunatic. Okay. Yep. He could have just randomly attacked somebody. That's very simple to understand. There are also complainant reports from people that worked inside about what happened. Okay. Listen, John didn't get he made a claim to the police officials that he fell down steps and hurt his head, but he was seen being kicked. Now, again, it's not that big a deal. He was in his 60s at that point.
Who doesn't get beat up in prison?
Yeah.
Everybody at one time or another gets jumped. It doesn't.
It's no. And again,
it happens.
I also made the point that this is somewhat easy to understand as well. If you know anything about the federal prison system, at all FCIs and mediums, there are many different groups that are in there: Italians, Mexicans, all sorts of people. When you go to Marion, which is one of the most secure prisons in America, there are not a lot of mobsters in Marion. It's that simple. John was who he was, but it's not like there were a bunch of gangsters in there. John started hanging around certain people, and he didn't have a ton of protection. It's that simple.
Okay, I love Lucky Luciano. Respectfully, Lee, where's the proof that it happened? Here's my question to you. Where's the proof that it didn't happen?
Well, the proof that it happened was it was actually talked about in multiple court cases. In 2007, the AB was actually brought under indictment, and an individual, Kevin Roach, actually testified that the AB was asked to kill Mr. Johnson. Now, they didn't do it, and actually I said yesterday it's a shame they didn't, because Walter Johnson got out of prison and killed a police officer and is doing life for it. But again, it was also well known that in Marion, Barry Mills, who headed the AB, Barry passed away. John and Barry were close. And in fact, the AB, if you look at it after the fact, the Aryan Brotherhood started operating like a mafia family. And a lot of people believe that was some of the connection and conversation John and the AB had. Now, again, I wasn't there. I don't know every particular. But again, this has been talked about by people that have worked there. Okay, it's that simple, and it came out in reports and in trials as well. So,
and don't get me
taking
wrong,
the testimony of the people that worked there that fucking abused the guy and starved him out or whatever, and left him in a cell like he was a piece of shit. I wouldn't believe one word they say. I got to be honest with you.
Again, my job is to not sit here and make friends with everybody. My job is to talk about the mafia. Okay, it was alleged that it happened. I'm going to bring it up. I also made it very clear. Okay. It's not like I'm a fan of the BOP. I'm going to tell you right now, they don't take care of anybody.
Joe, you have a very good point. There's no doubt that he was tortured. He was tortured horribly, just like John Jr. were. They were tortured by the system.
Mm-hmm.
But isn't there video evidence that this happened?
There is video evidence that has not been released. According to the individual that said this stuff, he saw the video. They asked John what happened. He said, "I fell down the stairs."
Oh, there was a picture of him too, where he had a cut on his head and he was bleeding. Gotti. No, there was.
But here's the
he
reality.
just got punched. He got sucker punched in jail.
He definitely did, which I said in the video. He may have been sucker punched. There was also someone that said he may have said something to this inmate. Again, I'm not saying John was in the wrong here. I'm just saying this is what has been contended happened.
How old was John when that happened?
Well, it was in the late 90s, so he would be.
So he's probably in his late 50s.
He was born in 1940, so he was
55.
But as I said, Lee, this guy that allegedly did this, Walter Johnson,
was a very bad man.
Individual. He was a huge guy.
He was a very bad man.
Dangerous
Everybody was scared shit of him. That I know.
The fucking guards might have paid him to do that, bro. You never know with these people, man.
Look what they did with Jeffrey Dahmer.
You can't trust these people, bro. They probably had Gotti shackled and the dude just rolled up on him and punched him.
No, I hate to say this. Maybe Gotti couldn't take him.
Listen,
because he's an old man.
John was.
You think he hasn't been in street fights before and hasn't been in jail?
I've been in street fights, but at my age, I can't do one.
That's what I'm saying. Oh yeah, that's my whole point.
Multiple people mentioned that the individual that supposedly did this was the most dangerous person they'd ever come in contact with. Okay, so it's conceivable to think it's nothing wrong with it. As I said, it's not like John was in McKean or Schuylkill where there's a bunch of mobsters everywhere watching over him. There's no mobsters in Marion. There's none. John was the only mobster in Marion. It's that simple. It's not like they're going to put him in there with other guys. If he goes out to AdMax, he's never going to have any connection to any other person. But in Marion, they don't have that.
But here's the other thing. How many times have you seen a mobster in jail get beat up and it's on the 6 o'clock news? Now, out of all the mobsters, Tommy, Karate, all these guys, you never think they got hit. You never think they got punched. You never think they got stabbed. You'll never see a picture of it. The guards released that information to make him look stupid. Like, look at him.
Hold on one second.
He got his ass whooped.
Hold on one second. Mods, if you see anybody come in and put up the pizza sign, just block.
And keep in mind,
fuck
Lee,
around with him. I just blocked him. Let me finish. Hold up. I just blocked the guy So, guys, if you're my mods, I expect you to help me out here. I shouldn't have to block them, but if they put up a pizza sign, get rid of them because all it is Tony Pizza's retarded people over here. Okay, I'm sorry.
But yeah,
I had to
like
say
you
that.
were saying, I mean, it is a known fact that the media and the government had a huge obsession with John Gotti, and they're going to do anything they can to obviously deface the value of him. Now, I will tell you, there's a guy
Without
that
a
does
doubt.
podcasts. He's quite good, Gary Jenkins. He has a podcast called Gangland Wire. I'm sure people have heard it. He interviewed the individual that made these contentious remarks, this prison guard. It's a very good episode. I urge you check it out. Now, look, ultimately, none of us have been in Marion. The family wasn't in Marion. None of us will ever truly know. But again, I'm not trying to make enemies here. I'm just talking about the mob. That's all. You can go on my channel. I do all sorts of different videos. Okay? I've done Gotti videos, but I've also done tons of other videos. I couldn't care less. The Gotti name is a name we have to talk about, and they're very much a part of what we do. So,
Of course.
you know,
Thank you, NB. I appreciate that. Okay.
But one thing I
Yes.
learned about YouTube, when you have a show and you say certain things, you can't expect everyone to say you're 100% right.
yeah.
What you heard is gospel. So
Hey, Tommy
my
Stiggs.
thing is,
You're
Tommy
right about
Stiggs,
that.
I'm
you know,
dropping
there's
that.
always pushback.
Yeah.
We push back.
Okay, that invite is for Tommy Stiggs. Jump in whatever you want, Tommy. Okay.
Oh, you don't get him started on Gotti. He's a big Gotti supporter.
Listen, guys.
But see, that's the
have-
thing.
I'm not a
But
Gotti.
I have to say one other thing.
I'm
I
not
want
a-
to say one
I'm
thing.
not- Yeah, I'm not a detractor or a hater.
I have no problem with the Gottis. None. I just have a problem with Angel Gotti trying to correct everybody whenever they say something. You know,
Yeah,
if I say
listen.
something, you know, that's the reality. Let's have some balls, you know?
Listen, what
every
John-
time I come out and say something, I mean, I'm attacked by her because she doesn't want to hear it. You can't change history. That's what it's down to. You can't.
Listen, what John Gotti did from his inception to where he became, it's fascinating. Okay, I'm not going to ever take that away. He was one of the most regal individuals in the history of the mob. If I ever saw him walk down the street, it would be like seeing the president to me. But at the end of the day, I do not think he was an effective boss. It's just that simple. I don't like him or dislike him. I don't like or dislike the family. That's where we lose this YouTube stuff, where people just assume because you don't agree with somebody, they're a bad person.
Right.
All I'm trying to do is talk about this shit. I'd like to be down the road someone that talks about this stuff on TV and things of that nature. I'm not here to hurt anybody's feelings. Okay.
Jeff, but excuse me, I'm sorry. What would be a successful boss? Like what would, you know, like, oh, he was a successful boss and he wasn't.
Listen, Joe, all due respect, I don't feel like what he did was a conscious.
No, I agree with you on that. No, I
But for
agree.
me,
I'm just saying, what would be would Paul
That's a great question.
Yeah, for
Jeff.
me, it
Paul
would be someone
Castellano
that-
been successful, boss?
Say that again.
I agree with you on Gotti. I'm saying, but what would constitute someone
So
being
for
a
me,
successful boss?
Yeah, so for me, it would be their ability to keep a family going through multiple levels of issues, not going to prison, not having tons of rats in their family, making money, going out and doing all these different, like Gambino, Gigante. Listen, up until his cooperation, which happened at the end of his tenure as boss, Joe Messina was an incredibly effective boss. He took that family through multiple issues. Galante, Donnie Brasco. You know, Rostelli was in prison the entire time. The three capos hit. He was a very effective boss. He made sure that family until the 90s had no informants. He was an incredibly effective boss.
Let's not forget Scarfo. That's a bad joke.
Oh, Scarfo was a bad boss. And remember,
He
John
was
was only
great.
boss for like 5 years. He wasn't boss for that long. Now, what he did, taking advantage of the situation and becoming the boss, that takes balls. And that's how you become a boss, having balls. There were guys that never did that, never became boss.
Hey, Vinny, that's a great thing. Tony Accardo, how long did he last? I mean,
He never went to prison. Not one.
yeah,
time.
and he was on, how long was he the boss?
Off and on 30, 40 years.
I mean, that guy, he's so underrated.
Lee. And Joe knows this. Tony Accardo never went to prison, not 1 minute. Not one. He never sat in a prison cell, ever. All the things that he was able to do. He never talked. He never did anything.
Why do you think that was?
Because they could never tie him to anything.
So that means that he was a good leader. He was a good leader.
And Lee, there's a thing you should watch that. You should actually do a video. This is a great video. There's a Senate hearing where they have Accardo in front of the Senate hearing. He's about 75 years old. You ever see that, Joe? He sits there and says, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know that person. I never heard of that person. He said, it was just, he schooled the people. And John screwed up because of the obsession with being out in front.
The guys that robbed his, they burglarized Accardo's house. What happened to those 8 or 10 guys?
All whacked.
They found them in the trunks of cars.
Yeah.
Well,
He even killed the guy who was caretaker of the house while he was away, the old man. He killed him too.
Well said. But yeah, when it comes
Spiro also, right?
But someone's mentioned
Spiro? Well, his house, it was his daughter's house that got robbed. I'd probably, if it's your daughter, it probably, it's a tough one. It's tough.
Let me ask you a question, Joey.
Mm-hmm.
You come from that area where Spiro was.
Mm-hmm.
You come from that area where Spiro was. What's your opinion of Spiro? Was he a good boss? I know he was. He was a boss of that neighborhood.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so? Let me ask.
I think he tried to be, but
Tommy.
Hey guys.
No,
Can you hear me or no?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Let me ask.
All right, boys.
You just got to turn your show off. You got a show on.
I'm good.
Yeah, just find a browser. You have the okay.
That whole Paulie
Do you
Galino
think
thing,
the
that was
good
a
boss-
bad move, man.
I'm learning. Hello, guys.
It was a bad move for who though, Joe? He pushed
It was
the
a
boss.
bad, I don't know.
I mean, you push
I don't
the
know,
boss,
man.
you die. I mean, but we act like
There's a lot of guys that push people and do things like that.
But
But
he's
they
the
killed him
boss.
in his house. They killed him in his mother's house.
Who?
His
He
parents
was the
came
boss,
home and
though.
seen him dead on the floor. Come on, you do something like that.
When Spiro got pushed by Paulie Galino. But the fact of the matter is, you don't do that.
Look, I don't know anyone who was there, who's seen it, but yeah, you push a boss, you do get killed, but who knows
Because
what happened?
you know
really.
what? Here's the thing: if you push that boss, and if he doesn't do anything, then it's going to get all over the street that Paulie runs shit.
No.
Isn't that what it
What
comes-
happened? The thing is this, who took over his business when he got killed?
That's always the history of the mafia.
Yeah, right. And it's always
Yeah.
normally the person that takes over the business is the main person because normally in my neighborhood, the person that kills a guy, he winds up dead as well.
Well, you know
That's
what
why
it was?
there's all these murders. One guy kills one guy, and then they don't want that guy to talk, so he goes.
We hear Jimmy.
Interestingly enough,
I'm sorry. Go, Jeff.
Yeah, real quick, if you look at the 3 murders that Spiro was indicted on, 2 of them were absolutely meant. Like Vincent Bickelman was not a mobster. Vincent Bickelman stole a chain out of his daughter's home, and Paul Galino was, for all intents and purposes, while he was an up and comer, he was not a high ranking member as well. Spiro was involved because he got involved with kids, and those kids have ended up getting older, and he was involved with things there. But Joe's right. I mean, Spiro preyed on young children. It's that simple. Was he effective? I mean, he was acting boss at one point. So, I mean, I guess, but the Bonanos at that point were kind of a headless snake. But yeah, Tommy, good to see you. I've seen your stuff. You know a lot. A good guy.
Hey, buddy. Good to see you.
Would you like to say something about that?
Wait, real quick. Tommy Stigs, he really
Joey,
doesn't
we're
like
talking
Gotti, Jeff.
That's not true.
I just
you
want to
don't
get
like
him
Gotti.
pissed off. That's all. I want to get him going.
Wait, yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah, let's get. Wait, 1 minute, guys.
It's gonna be Joey's snack, sir.
1 minute, guys. This has nothing to do with not liking John Gotti. This
I
has
know,
nothing
I'm-
to do with liking Gotti.
Right,
You know,
right. I'm breaking.
you're
balls.
entitled to
I
your
know.
opinion.
Of
You
course.
know, I have nothing but respect for John Gotti. John Gotti was a badass. The guy went to prison like a man. I could never do what John Gotti did.
No doubt.
Never.
No doubt.
So I would never say anything negative about him like that. I'm not saying nothing negative about him. We're just talking
No.
about, did this guy beat him up in prison? And then because Angel made an attack yesterday and was getting all over people. So I'm bringing it up. She brought it up.
Angel
you know,
has a good show.
Her
She
name
should
is
be
Angel
well with
Gotti.
it.
Her name is Angel Gotti.
She's got a
not John
great
Gotti.
show.
Yeah, she got a good
I
show.
wish
She
her
should
nothing
do
but the
well with it.
best.
It's a little different. I said it before, guys. You have to understand the families were not involved in what goes on a day to day. They don't know.
Yeah.
And I hope my daughter would do the same. The natural reaction of a girl is to protect her dad, right?
Yeah, without a doubt.
It's hard to. So you got to give a little lenience in that respect. They're not involved. Our kids are not involved in what we do on a day to day. They don't know what goes on. They just know that's daddy. That's basically it.
That's why Karen Gravano was able to do what she did, because people were
100%.
questioning me, like, "Oh, there's wise guys on the street. Well, how come they let her run around Staten Island doing all this stuff? Why'd they let her run around Staten Island? Because she's not a mobster. She was his daughter. You don't think that those guys have children?
Yep.
Too? You think they want their children being targeted? A mobster or a mafioso, for the most part, might have a normal relationship with their daughters and sons.
Yes.
It's not like they're talking about the profits that they made and who that it's mom and dad. You get in trouble just like any other kid. You go to school.
Let me ask you guys a question. After Sammy went and snitched, do you think there was ever a time where people considered going after his family to get even with him?
No.
No.
I know personally daughters and sons of people that went bad. Real bad, like real bad. And they're still around. The girls are still around. The boys are still around. And
You know what's funny?
Now they'll go after him. They went after him for sure. I mean, he'll tell you.
no doubt. And they
Without
should. Shouldn't they?
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's where the difference between the mafia, for the most part, and other crews. If you go to Naples, they'll kill your whole fucking family.
You're talking about a whole different animal.
Before he testifies, not
That's
after.
a whole different animal. I am dear friends with the offspring of people that have testified, went bad, and done bad, and turned state, and they're respected by all as an individual.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think that it was ever considered at all?
No.
Only in Sicily or Italy.
Only in Sicily.
Here.
They'll blow up the whole family. There's no
So
doubt.
there's really no history of it in the United States.
No,
There's
listen.
more-
It's important to understand.
With
Okay,
gas
there were-
pipe, there's a little bit of a
Guys.
history.
Let me break this down for you as a cultural thing. In the U.S., we are American. I call us American Italians. I don't say Italian American. I say American Italian. We are a collective family. I guess you can say collective family. So what happens in the generation above us does not affect our relationship amongst us. And we respect each other, and we just have a bond. Does that make sense at all?
Yes.
But you would contend, Tommy, that and Joe's right. It happened once in a while. Anthony Cassa was a lunatic. He went after people's families.
Picciotto's sister. No, there's no doubt about it. There's exceptions to every rule, right?
But it's not a norm, as you're saying. Like
Now, did he
There's
get to the?
exceptions to every rule. Picciotto's sister got shot, right?
Yeah, she's paralyzed because of it.
Right. So there are exceptions to every rule.
Yeah,
They won't go after brothers. I think they'll go after brothers, though.
not normal.
God forbid, if I was a witness and they went after my brother, I did not cooperate. I did my
But if
time.
your brother, if they're parts of it, Lee, of course they're going to. But
Right.
if Tommy's brother is just a regular citizen,
And he is.
yeah, they're not. Yeah, exactly. They're not going to. At least 9.9 of them aren't going to. There's that one lunatic like him. Now, look, you look at DeMeo. DeMeo's kid. There's a story that he was beaten up by the Gemini twins. That's a story that's out there. But you got to remember who you're dealing with. The two people we're talking about here are Queso and DeMeo's people, the two most biggest
Maniacs.
lunatic groups ever. So,
That's so-
Harry the Hunchback's family was went after, but they were part of the mob as well. Hunchback's
so-
brothers were.
His brothers were associated with them.
Now, why they
Casso,
gun butted his mother, I don't know.
Casso decimated that family from Brooklyn to Belleville. He destroyed it. He fucking made it. I'm sorry, Lee. He made it into
Oh, that's fine. That's
He
fine.
made it into a disaster. A disaster.
Hey, Tommy, can I ask you
Yes,
something
sir.
on that? I
Absolutely.
did a show recently on Paul Vario. Would you
Yes.
agree that if not for him going to prison and getting sick, he would have been an incredible boss for that family instead of Casso?
In New York, yes.
Yeah.
Oh God,
It's a shame.
Casso was the
'Cause they
worst.
had no leadership after Tony Ducks,
Casso was the worst choice.
But but Vario was finished by that
Well,
point.
no, that's what I'm saying. If he didn't, let's say he
Right.
had better health,
Yeah.
Casso was evidently
Well, yeah.
a crazy cowboy who should have been used as such.
Yeah.
He was a Roy DeMeo, say.
Yeah, he would have. Casso
Maybe
would
not
have
as-
not.
maybe
He
not
would
as
have
well
killed
unhinged-
someone.
Maybe not as unhinged as DeMeo, but very close. He
Didn't
knew-
they pick someone
he
other
was
than
wrong-
them as the boss, and he
was wrong
clipped them?
position. Was that Joe?
Yeah. I'm thinking that when Tony Ducks was going away, Vic Amuso was not his first choice.
I think
There was another guy from the Bronx. Well, you never heard of him again.
Okay.
Buddy Luongo was his name.
Buddy Longo.
What
Yeah.
happened? What happened to him?
We don't
Longo.
know.
He just disappeared off the.
No, I think he got. They
Basically.
might have recovered his body, but he's no longer with us. So
Oh,
whoever they were going to make the boss, maybe they wouldn't have took out Paul Vario, but
I got. Hey
those
guys,
guys.
Jeff has to leave. I think he has something lined up. So Jeff, before you take off, is there something you want to say? Tell us about your channel. Please go to. Hey guys, if you have not, you see how much stuff Jeff knows. So if you have not subbed to his channel, please go sub to it. The reason I asked Jeff to come on here is because he is so knowledgeable. I'll hear stupid things like, "Oh, it's Wikipedia." Well, you know what? You got to learn the shit somewhere.
Yeah, but again, Lee, I will say I try to go above and beyond those levels of finding stuff out.
I know you do.
I will make this clear. Okay, I'm not from Brooklyn. I don't live in Brooklyn. I don't live in New York. I'm just someone that enjoys history. I like looking this shit up and talking about it. So these guys were around in that time period. They may know a little bit more than I do even, but thank you for having me on. And yeah, if you want to check out my channel, I have some good content. So.
Jeff, hit me up anytime.
I appreciate it.
Tommy,
Yeah,
I'd love to do that, and I will.
Anytime.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Take
These
care.
guys have my contact information.
I
anytime.
will. I'll take you up on that.
Absolutely.
Take care.
I'm a friend to all.
Okay. Well, the good thing, we're at 170, and when we started the show today, there were 2 other shows on at the same time. So, it's kind of interesting to see how the show does when other shows are on. So,
Lee,
have 100
do you think it's going better staying on topic or no? Or are you enjoying
no.
it more?
I enjoy having the mob talk. We talked about the Westies. And that's what people want. They don't want this bickering and fighting. Like if I have to say something Angel said, I'll get it out there. I'm not going to attack Angel. She's a very good, nice woman. But when she questions something I'm going to say, I have the right to answer. But I will not attack her. She's a good woman.
Cheers.
That I'll say. First
And
off.
I'll say it again. They don't. She doesn't know, and that's okay.
Yep. And you just defend yourself. You drop it from there. That's the problem that this whole genre's had for the last couple of months. They get mad and everybody's fighting with each other. And I'm guilty of that. But you know what? My channel has done a complete turnaround since I've gotten serious.
Good.
This is the first time in 3 months that I've done back-to-back lives.
Excellent.
And yesterday's show, we're pushing 3,000 views. I mean, so, and it's not possible without you guys.
I can't even see.
And the reason I want wanted Joey and Tommy on here, people, because you hear them talk and you see how much knowledge, and that's personal knowledge.
Personal, first-hand experience.
And you can't ask for anything better. These guys are Brooklyn guys, New York guys. They're the real deal.
New Jersey here.
Yeah, I'm in Texas, but I spent the first 32 years of my life in New York, and I lived 10 years and worked 10 years in Brooklyn.
Me,
But I'm not-
Jersey. Me, North Jersey. Joey's in Brooklyn.
Yeah, but how many Italians are in Jersey?
The same as Brooklyn.
It's same thing, right? So how's Vinny doing, Joe? Can you give us an update on that? I can't hear you.
Joe, you might be on mute. I conversated with Vinny last night, Lee. He's not feeling well.
Okay,
He's not doing good, Vinny,
Yeah, he's not
but
feeling
he'll be okay.
but
We gotta pray for him.
is it just from the treatment?
Who knows? You know, my thing is this. I found out when I was working, it was more of a high stress situation. Your health goes to shit eventually. You know what I mean? Like, added on to everything else you're doing. Now that I'm retired, I have almost a clean bill of health. How do you figure that? I've been losing weight. The high blood pressure is down. So there might be something to it.
They
He's
doubled my
going through
meds.
radiation treatments.
Yeah, it's
I
a lot.
don't know. That's COVID's around. Everyone's getting sick.
My son has it
You
right
know,
now. My son has
You
it right
start throwing up a lot. You get dehydrated. You got to really be careful when you're getting
My son
treatment or whatever.
now. My
You
son has
want
the
to
COVID right now.
Testa? What do you? I'm sorry. What do you guys think about this? The Galindo murder was similar to Salvi Testa. The only way you were getting close to him at the time was through a friend.
Salvi
Starfall-
Testa should have never been killed. That makes me irate. That kid in that life was an up and comer. He got killed because of, what do you call it? Ego, I guess. Greed.
What did he do?
Salvi
What did he do to get killed?
I don't think he did anything at all.
No. Wow.
Nicky Scarfo wanted him dead. And Phil Leonetti says, we got to kill him. That's it.
And then Phil Leonetti said, "Oh, I
That
was
was a
sick."
crazy time. That was a crazy time. Crazy time.
Well, that was going on in all the families at one time, wasn't it? Well, not the Genovese so much. They were the Genovese seemed to be more loyal to each other than, say, the Bonanos and the Gambinos.
The Genovese are IBM. Take them out of the equation.
Yeah.
Street stuff.
Yeah, but you want to say that Vincent the Chin was a successful boss. Didn't he die in jail? That's
died
not
in-
a success story.
Everybody, here's
great
how we
point.
call it. Here's how we say it. We're doing life on the installment plan.
Yeah. But that's a great point, Joe. That's a good, so I guess you would say Accardo was successful.
Gambino?
Gambino.
Accardo was successful. Gambino was successful.
Not many.
Tommy DePhillips from Belleville was successful 3 years.
Even Luciano was successful to a point. He went to prison, but he got out, and he went back home to Italy, and he still had his heroin, whatever was it?
That stuff takes me to a whole new level.
The drugs.
The drugs. It's just. I went at a funeral for my friend's son, 25 this week. Another friend of mine, another friend of mine, 30. He overdosed. They found him in the street Wednesday. The same day we had to wait for my friend's son, we got notice that my other friend OD'd on the heroin. I have zero tolerance for it.
And how do these people get started with heroin? That's the whole thing that people have to realize. You're not just one day saying, I'm doing heroin. No.
So does it bother you that these mobsters were dealing the drugs they were dealing?
I will tell you that I believe that the Italian back then are responsible for what's going on today with the heroin epidemic.
I mean, just look at Pizzagate,
No, I wholeheartedly say that. Listen, my friends break my balls. Sometimes I can't get the words out. I stutter a little bit. I had four mini strokes.
You said you don't stutter. Who said you stutter?
Not stutter. Sometimes I hesitate to get it out. I don't stutter. Sometimes I hesitate to get it out. I had 4 strokes along the way. 4 mini strokes. I don't know what they call it. I don't know what they call it, but I had 4
You
mini
working
strokes.
right now, Tommy?
What's that?
Do you work right now, or are you retired?
Full time, every day.
He looks like he's working out too. I seen a picture of him with his in his tank top. I'm like, all right, man. I'm glad he's on my side.
You're
I'm not
crazy.
messing with
So
Tommy
let's get back to
Sticks.
let's get back to the drug part.
Let's
Do
go.
you think it was? Okay? We know Rico was one of the reasons that the mob got brought down, but do you think that the drug dealing was another main reason that the mob came down?
Yeah, I have no respect for that segment. Segment, is that the right word? I have no respect for that sector of LCN. Zero. You deal in drugs, you're an absolute trash can. You're not a hustler. You don't know how to make money on the street. You're
So
not.
what do you think of Tommy? What do you think
Go ahead.
about the boss? What do you think about the bosses that are getting the money
It's tough, man.
and they're claiming they're not?
It's so tough. It's so
Didn't
tough.
Vincent the Chin go away for drugs in the 60s?
All
I
the
think
family
they were
bosses.
all involved in it at one
Lucky
point.
Luciano.
Yeah.
Or maybe
the
that
family
was trumped up, but
all
who
the
knows?
family bosses, all the
It's-
family bosses, and all these families were getting money for drugs.
So
Okay.
who
Back in
controls the
70s and
drugs
80s.
now? Non-Italians, right? So if
Well,
non-Italians,
listen, Joe, I feel guilty that we started it.
right?
It bothers me when
That
I see
makes
some of my friends, kids, dying with needles in their arms. I'm like, I'm sorry, Lee, again. We started this.
No, listen.
We brought this shit here. We brought this shit here out of greed. It kills me.
But if the
Guilty.
Italians didn't do it, someone else was going to do it. It
Someone's
sounds
going to do it,
that's
but why does
you
it have
know,
to be us? It's tough enough for us to begin with.
right.
Nobody realizes is the discrimination that we go through.
Yep. No, I know.
No,
I
we do
I
on a
know.
daily basis. We just deal with it, right?
Okay, one second.
Right.
Callie G, make sure anybody that gets blocked because they're doing something.
Lee.
One
Lee,
second.
Lee,
One
let's
second.
not block. Let him be. Let him
Yeah.
be.
The only time you block somebody is if they come in here and are very disrespectful. That's
And
it.
if they say a bad thing about me,
Yeah.
walk them right out.
If they
Because
say
I'll
something
go
bad about me, that's fine.
crazy.
But listen, if a moderator gets insulted, don't block
No
people.
prisoners. No prisoners. You're right. Lee.
Because that's just the way. Or if they have a pizza sign next to them, they go.
Lee, I don't want to go off track, and I want you to dictate what we talk about. I don't want to go and go and
No,
go.
no. This is what we do. Yesterday we covered a lot of subjects. Today we're covering a lot of subjects. And that's what you want to do. People want to hear these subjects. Talking about drugs and the mob is a good thing because you always hear this myth that, in the mob, if you deal drugs, you got killed. When do you think this stopped? When do you think that the bosses stopped killing people for dealing drugs?
When they stop getting pinched for it. It's very simple. If you get pinched for it, you're getting killed. If you don't get pinched, give me the money.
When do you think it started? What decade? The 70s, would you
70s,
say?
yes. Absolutely 70s.
And that's when it took off.
And I'm burying people now in the 2020s.
Because it becomes a generational thing.
Oh, my God. When I see my friends, Italian-American kids, American-Italian kids, as I call them, dying, I'm literally talking about dying with a needle in their arm. I say I was part of an organization that may have actually been part of bringing this in.
Yeah, it's like everything else. They what did they say that drugs were going to be dealt in the early days?
Yeah,
the black
in the
neighborhoods, the
Yes,
lower
I got it.
income neighborhoods, and then it spreads to now you have
Suburbs.
neighborhoods that are
Suburbs.
Italian neighborhoods where everybody's on drugs. So
Small
backfired.
town America everywhere.
That's right.
Everywhere.
Right.
I live in a town right here where there's no drugs at all. I mean, there's drugs, but the kids, and you know why? Only because in this town is the main headquarters for in this part of Texas, for the state police, the sheriff's department, the police department, and the Rangers. And they all live here in this town. But that's pure luck, that you have that many cops around. Because the towns that don't have cops, they have one or two cops, those kids are out of control. They have nothing else to do. They live in these small towns. So what do? Get high. Oh my God.
That's what hurt the mob too, I think, a lot is
Go guys,
The
listen.
guys doing drugs more than
So-
anything.
check it
the
out.
wise guys doing drugs. Or anyone I ever knew did drugs.
I personally believe one of the main reasons for them not wanting to be involved in drugs, or the upper echelon not wanting to underlings be involved in drugs, is that they know the sentences are harsh and it's going to turn witnesses. I'm not saying they cared about them desecrating their neighborhood. I think it's just that when you get high sentences, your higher rate of cooperators is, the ratio goes up.
That's exactly right.
I think it's more than just desecrating a neighborhood. I think it's more of turning on the organization. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just my thought.
And the government can come to you and say, okay, we're going to give you 25 years, and there's nothing you could do.
You're going to turn.
There's absolutely nothing you could do. I'll give you another example. The government decides how much time each person's going to get, and sometimes like right now, you have a problem in New York City where the guy that took over the borough of Manhattan is taking all the charges and putting them way down. Like people are going to prison now and jail and getting out in one day for like assault and battery, beating people up viciously, dealing heavy duty drugs and guns. They're letting him back out in the street. But the federal government, and this is where you come in, the federal government works at a whole different level. They can do whatever they want, the feds.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, let's read some of these.
Tommy I saw Tommy likes to drop names as if he was connected. I want to go back to that.
Why did Gambinos kill Jimmy Keys for Nicky Scarfo when Scarfo was put in place by Genovese?
Johnny Keys he's talking about.
Where is that one?
Where
Whoever
he killed
posted
him,
that,
where Sammy said he killed him.
Whoever posted that, Tommy likes to drop names as if he was involved. Can you repost that? I can't find it.
I can't. Well, I don't know where you're asking me. I got to go through all these. I'll never find
Nah, I
it.
don't know. I'll find it.
Okay, I want to say something about this one. Lee, I think you're smart to have guests on. Swallow your pride. What the hell does swallowing my pride have to do with anything? I have guests on because they're knowledgeable. See,
Okay.
this is the thing. I just want to say one thing.
Spit it out. Don't swallow your pride. Tell
Okay.
us.
So, guys, check this out. I heard another content maker who's an idiot. So you guys know who I'm talking about. Okay. He made the stupidest statement in the world. He goes, Leeds only does good on his shows because he has guests on.
Okay.
Duh.
Let's have guests.
Yeah, that's the point of the show.
The whole point.
It's my job as a content maker to bring on good people that watch. We got 190 watching right now. That must mean that you're interested. I asked Tommy and I asked Joe after yesterday to come back today. You know why? Because you guys loved them yesterday. So you don't want to see one guy sitting here smoking a fucking cigarette like that.
And we love you.
Yeah. And
Hat in
yelling
hand.
and going like this. Well, fuck him. He's not my friend no more. And fuck this one. And I'm mad. I'm going to come at you now, motherfucker.
Don't forget the hat in hand.
Yeah.
That's why he never wears a hat. He always
Yeah.
has it in his hand.
And you know what? I'll be honest with you. Anybody ever came on here smoking a cigarette, I wouldn't keep them on. It's
Listen, I'll give it to you my input, I'll give it to you very simple. I'm not a cooperator. I did my time in the prison cell. I will talk on the genre. I'll give you whatever information that I can. If I can't, I will say I'm not knowledgeable in it. You're just gonna get whatever you ask me for. I'm just gonna give it to you. If I can't, I can't. If I can, I can. The Westies was a conversation on here. We didn't go back to that yet.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, Lee.
Well, how much do you know about the Westies?
Okay. Jimmy, there was a guy I know this because I personally
You dealt with
had
him?
in some ways, okay? Family friends were friends with them, all right?
Right.
When I got in trouble and I was out of work, I told you guys before that through John Gotti, I got some work at night and I was able to try to make ends meet to feed my family, right? That was John Gotti's doing, or his people.
Right.
Know John Gotti personally, but he had very serious, powerful people in the Essex County area. So when somebody powerful or influential says to John or whoever's running things for John, we have a guy that needs some work. He's a guy. He did his time. He stood up. He needs some work. They get us work, right? Okay. Now go to the other side, the West Side, or the Westies. Say not really the West, not the West Side Genovese, the Westies. I need to work, and they put me in the line to try to apply for a job at the Javits Center.
Right.
This is no big deal here. I'm not putting anybody out there. I'm never giving any information on something that isn't known, right? Jimmy Hires. There was a guy there whose name was Jimmy Hires. Jimmy Judge. He was part of the Westies. All right? Jimmy Judge Sr. is dead right now. His name was Jimmy Hires. Nobody knew his last name except for us that knew him.
So his nickname was Jimmy Hires
because he hired everybody that needed work.
He hired people. Okay, clever.
He hired the people that needed work. If you didn't do the work, you're out. It's his reputation, right? If you didn't do the work, you're out. Jimmy Hires. His name was Jimmy Judge. He was part of the Westies. His son, same thing. So that's just a snapshot of Westies in a good way. In a good way.
Now, let me ask you something, Tommy. Rudolph Giuliani said that they were the most vicious gang that he ever witnessed. Would you agree with that?
Of course, they were fucking, sorry again. They were crazy guys. But on our level, when we needed work or somebody needed something done, it happened. Listen, even the wise guys have a violent way, right?
Yeah.
But
they control it. They control it now.
But that's a whole different aspect of what they do.
Drunks are hard to control. Drunk people are hard to control.
Exactly. This is true.
I'm 100%. I'm 100% Irish.
The positives and the negatives. You know, the Westies were used by Paul Castellano for some crazy things, craziness. But that's that aspect. That's that aspect. Just like wise guys, or in a family, you have a guy that's a bookmaker and he's a gentlemanly man, right? And then you have a drug dealer within the same family. There's different aspects of every organization, every family. So the Westies, on the whole, other than what we see in books and news, is not the only part of them.
And they came down fast. They went up fast and they came down fast.
No doubt about it.
I mean, but that and I was talking before you came on. I was talking to Jeff about that. A lot of them died of alcohol poisoning, literally like 30 years old.
Just like the Italians like garlic, the Irish like booze. This is the thing. It's just the thing.
Yeah.
It's just a thing, right?
Yeah.
But there's gentlemen within that organization also. It's too much. It's too bad, unfortunately, that through the Google world, it's only negatives that are seen.
I think Gary Oldman played a perfect crazy Irish gangster in what was that movie again with Sean Penn? Did you see that movie, Tommy?
No. What was that?
Gary Coonan. He played Jimmy Coonan's brother.
Yeah.
I read the book. The first book I read in jail was The Westies.
Yeah, well, Gary Oldman played him, and you know Gary Oldman as an actor. He played him. Like, I'll give you an example. He meets Sean Penn, and he goes into his freezer, and he pulls out these two hands and says, he goes, and Sean Penn says to him, "What are you doing with those hands?" And he's chasing Sean Penn with the hands, and then he goes, "Oh, we keep these for fingerprints. We put them on guns and shit."
Oh my God.
You know, so it was like. So they're putting a dead guy's hand. They go kill somebody with a gun.
Wow.
And they put the dead guy's hands. They leave the gun behind the scene. So they're looking for a dead man.
What is
the
it called?
police.
What is the movie?
State of Grace.
State of
Grace.
Grace.
Yeah.
Came out in
Great
1990. Sean Penn, Ed Harris, Gary Oldman.
Wow, what a cast that is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah. And what's his name pulled it off for the brother for Coonan actually. What was it? Harris. Ed Harris played him. And it even showed the scene where the Castellano was meeting with Ed Harris and the Irish were about to go in and kill the Italians.
They showed all of that.
And then he walked out like right before they went in to kill him.
So how was it?
And that was the question, though. Imagine if those crazy Irish went in there and killed all those Italians, including Paul Castellano.
But they would. They would.
And what would have happened to him, though? I mean,
It would have been the boss.
that would have been. I think it would have been one bloody war to come out. They would have to send quite a few guys. And when you go into Hell's Kitchen,
There's no.
you guys ever been to Hell's Kitchen? You
Hell's
guys
Kitchen,
ever? You've been there, right?
Of course.
I've been there 1,000 times.
12 minutes from Hell's Kitchen right now. 12 minutes from there. So yeah, of course. But I do think that the force to be reckoned with, which is the American Italian Mafia, they wouldn't stand a chance.
No, without a doubt. No way.
If it came to war, come on.
Because with the Westies, it was only like a group of 30, 40 crazy guys.
But
I mean,
they got a lot of shit done, man.
Yeah, if they killed the boss of the Gambino family or anyone, it wouldn't just be the Gambinos, it'd be all of them.
Every family
would go against them.
Everybody. They would call guys in from everywhere.
Yep.
And you had some guys that had. So when we're talking about the Mafia, give me a name of a guy, a captain, that had the biggest group of guys around him.
What area are we talking about?
Any of the families. If you had to say, a guy that just had a lot of people around him, killers.
What time period?
Say the 70s and 80s.
John Gotti.
You think John Gotti had like the most est?
Yeah, there was some pretty tough guys in his outfit.
Without a doubt.
That's in that area. Now I go to Jersey and I'll talk about Richie the Boot.
And how many guys would you say he had?
Genovese. Oh, tons.
Now they said Fat Andy had well over a couple hundred men. And a matter of fact, he didn't want to make Rogerio, but he made Rogerio's partner. And Rogerio left the family. But the fact of the matter is that Fat Andy had all these people around him. I didn't realize how powerful he was and how many people that man had. It's pretty insane.
I don't know. That's
Fat
Andy Giuliani?
Yes.
Really?
Yep. And it's funny though, because I'm learning this stuff while I'm studying, and like when you read stuff that you don't know, it's kind of nice when you really learn it. But you guys know a lot of things from the street.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying Gotti and the Gambinos. Who would it be in the Genovese family?
In Jersey, it would be Andy Gerardo or Richie the Boot or Tommy DePhillips. That's Genovese in North Jersey.
Which family controlled New Jersey, would you say, the most?
Everybody was here.
Everybody was here?
Not so much Colombos and Bananos, but Genovese, strong presence. Gambino, very strong presence. Lucchese, very strong presence. Everybody except the Colombos and Bananos, I think.
Which family did you find that was best to work with?
Genovese.
Oh, really? Would you say that they were the most professional family?
I think so, yeah.
And why do you think that? Why do you think that was?
Gambinos around this area were more violent. Genovese were more businesslike. Scarfo guys were they were kind of in limbo in the 70s and 80s, so it was a little tough, but they were prominent. I don't know. I just think that the Genovese handled it more like a business.
Do you think there's any, how much of the mob do you think, do they still have any type of power in Jersey, or is it pretty much gone?
Everything is potluck right now, from my opinion. I'm not involved in it now. I know people around, but it's just, we're at the end. I think we saw the end. The topics that we're talking about all the time was basically the end of what we know it to be. That's just my opinion. I don't know.
How bad do you think cameras changed everything?
You can't even jaywalk now.
You
Yeah,
can't
but
even
they're
go
still
hunting.
killing people.
You can't even go hunting in the forest right now.
Nothing.
They got cameras on the fucking trees in the forest.
It's not preventing anything. It's just they're finding out who did it faster. That's all. But it's
You're definitely getting pinched today. From what I was doing when I was doing things around here in North Jersey, I was at payphones, beepers, doing my best just to not be, around, not be recorded or whatever. Today, I wouldn't even forget it. Just go to work. Go to work. It's over.
Well,
Unless you're able to be prepared to go to jail. I said it before. We call it doing life on the installment plan. That is exactly what it's going to be.
yeah.
I grew up in Times Square. I ran away from home when I was in 1976. I went to Times Square, and I went to work for a Greek pizza place. I had no place to stay, no place to sleep, and the guy let me sleep in the basement. I worked 90 hours a week working for this guy. And if it wasn't for this guy, I would have wound up in the street with these street kids. And you know what happened to those kids in the street. But, when I see these shows coming on now at the seedy Times Square, people say, oh, how bad it was back then in the 70s and 80s. But I'll be honest with you, I think it's worse now with all the corporate shit.
But here's one thing I just want to add, okay, about like the mob being dead, right? Why do people think the mob's dead? Because they're not in the newspaper every day?
They're never dead.
Because the three of us, well, maybe, but most people in the chat, they're only going to find out about the mob through a newspaper or a news report or whatever. I live in Staten Island, aka Staten, Italy.
Never dead.
Everywhere I go, you could see guys. It's like they have a sign on. Seriously, it's that crazy.
It's never dead.
The guy gets out of a Yukon. He's
hey guys,
5'6", 300 pounds of muscle, gold chains, tan, hair slicked back, smoking a cigar.
Joe, it's forever. It's a matter of when.
Crime is forever. Crime is worse now than
Crime
ever.
Is forever. But it's a matter of it. It's not a matter of when, because we know it's inevitable, right? It's a matter of if. Can you handle the time?
Yeah.
It's very simple.
That's what it comes down to.
Guys are not involved in unions. Look at they just busted the guy, Vinny Unions, for threatening a union guy. So what union are they out of?
It still goes on. It's going to be forever.
And you know what's funny?
Wherever the money is, they're going to go. That's what it is. So if you make money, expect a phone call.
And the prisons are worse. And the prisons are worse than ever. People think the prisons have improved. They haven't improved. They're worse than ever.
Philadelphia broke their record for murders this year or last year, the highest ever.
Brandon Raybrook right now just went in for 3 years. I haven't heard yet, but I think it's all right. I don't think it's that's federal, so that's a different story.
And federal is a little different. And it depends what level you get at federal.
Medium. Raybrook is medium federal. Yeah. That's where John Gotti Jr.
Yeah, you don't want to go to Supermax in federal. That's just torture.
Well, that's where John Gotti was, and that's where Scarfo was.
We know Rob Lito doesn't get his info from books. We know that.
Who said that?
I'm not.
No, Rob Lito said it about himself. But I know Rob Lito. How are you, my friend?
It's going to be for it's going to be forever everywhere, guys. There's no doubt about it. There's money to be made. There's guys on the street that are going to look to make this money. Like I said before.
And there's more and there's more money. There's more money in this country than ever. You might hear, oh, America's in trouble. It's in trouble culture-wise, but financial-wise, it's not in trouble. I mean, think about the corporations that you have in America. You got Microsoft, you got Apple, you got these companies, and they're the biggest money. These companies make more money than any companies, Amazon, and they're Amazon everywhere. It's the problem with the money is the wrong people are getting it.
When we went to Philly maybe 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago, me, Tom, Vinny, we met Cousin Paulie down there. We're in the restaurant, Nitties. Who walks in the restaurant? I'm not going to say his name,
Don't say Frank.
but he's a
Nitty.
somebody that walked in. And you
Next time
knew
you go-
right in 3 seconds when the owner and everybody shaking his hands and blah, 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 you knew right away. Who
Next
it
time
was.
you go down that way, don't go all the way to Philly. Go to oh my God, what's the name? of
That
it?
kid's place, the Fat Angelo's place in Jersey,
Go to Angelo
the
Lutz's place.
Consigliere Kitchen.
Yes,
Or the
go
Kitchen
there.
Consigliere, yep.
Go there.
Did you go shake the guy's hand?
Me?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Stay away,
No.
Joe. Stay away,
No,
man.
no. I was with Tom LaVecchia. Come on, Tom wanted his autograph. I wasn't going to shake his
Listen,
hand.
I used to
I
get
thought-
tables. I used to have tables reserved for me. They knew I was coming in. They had a table ready for me. This is Newark, not this is Newark. Now I'll wait in line, and I'm okay with it. I'll wait in line.
But you're not looking over your shoulder, which is
I'll
good.
wait in line, man. I'll wait in line.
It's amazing how you think when you're young and how
Yep.
you think when you get old, especially when
Yes.
you get to, you know something, I'm going to tell you guys something, but I just want to tell you something. Whether you like Gene Barillo or not, he said something to me that should make you think. I said to him, I asked him how his job was going. And then he says to me, he goes, you know what, Lee? This is the first time in my life I had a job. So when you think about these guys that grow up around this life, a lot of them never work. And then all of a sudden they work, have jobs. And it's like a whole different thing. It's a whole different, and the guy actually said to me, he felt good knowing what a job was.
He's a
Whether you
cooperator.
want to,
He's a cooperator, and I
He
would
is
love
a cooperator,
with him,
without
and
a
I would
doubt.
love with Sammy just for about 10 minutes.
yeah. But you know something?
SJNO, capital
What's
N-O.
that?
He says all the guys in Jersey are gone. Yeah, and there's all new guys now.
Who says
Yeah,
that?
but you know something, and it's a different type of crime now. It's internet crime. And there's a lot more money to be made on the internet, committing internet crime than ever.
Give me 2 minutes, guys. I got to break out for 2 minutes. Don't stop, though.
Look how much money Joe, how much money do you think the Russians are stealing with all these things they do online?
Look how much money they're stealing from me and my likeness. I'm Boris Esposito in Czechoslovakia. So we got man, that's now what's great is I'm wondering if I go to Brighton Beach or if I go to Sheepshead Bay, am I going to be recognized? Because they love me in Russia, I heard.
What's your favorite part of Brooklyn?
My neighborhood.
So
Bath
Bay
Beach, Dyker Heights, Bensonhurst.
Do you
I
like
mean, it's
Sheepshead?
completely different, but every time I go, it's just, it brings you back in time or whatever.
I moved out of Sheepshead Bay in '92. I can only imagine how much different it must be now.
Mainly Russian. I worked in Sheepshead Bay for a long time.
Oh, well, I have no problem.
It's all Russian people. Good people, though.
Oh, they are good people.
Good people. It's
My
like everything else. They have
third-
good ones and bad ones.
my third wife was Russian, and we went down to Brighton Beach to see her family. And I'll never forget this. When we were walking down the street, there were these guys walking around in leather jackets. The Russians love to wear them black leather jackets. But they didn't recognize me walking with her. So they started following me. It was kind of like intimidating.
Really?
They had no idea who I was, but you could tell the Russians, they look out for their neighborhoods. If they don't recognize you when you come on
Or
their
they
streets,
thought you were cute and wanted to hook up with you. I don't know. Either or.
no.
That could happen a lot too nowadays, so be careful, especially
But I'll
over
tell you
here.
what, I used to going to Brighton Beach because I would eat Russian food. And I don't know if you've ever had some of the Russian foods like porgies and stuff like that, the way they make them.
No.
Unbelievable.
I used to go to this place, Anatolian Gyro. Was pretty good.
Was it a real gyro?
Yeah, I think so. Yep. It was a real
I
good place.
I lived 10 years in Ditmars Boulevard down in Astoria, Queens. And that was back in '84. And when I was married, and I would say that was was the best area I lived in for food because it had Italian pizza places, it had Greek food, it had Chinese food.
The Russians are good people. Overall, they're good people.
Oh, they are. They're very good people.
I've been to parties in Brighton Beach. They're excellent people. I'm from Jersey, you know, Joe. I'm from obviously from Jersey.
Sorry to hear that. You keep mentioning it. You know, we sympathize with you.
I got friends out there. Yeah. I got friends out there, Russian people, and I go to events and parties and stuff like that. They're pretty good people overall. You know.
Yeah. Look at Rob Lito, Rasputin's. Yeah. I don't know if I'd roll up in there, but
it says Giuliani said at the Westies before the inner core. He said that before the inner core was of the DeMeo crew family went away for life. So the DeMeos were probably as violent as the Westies. Would you say so?
Yeah, more. Crazy.
How big was Roy DeMeo's group of guys?
I think he had 12 guys, something like that.
At least.
Yeah.
He was a very wealthy man too, Roy DeMeo. So that's going to get you a big crew.
Joe, through what though? What was he wealthy through? Cars and stuff?
He was drugs, cars, all types of shit. Porno, you name it. Any business. Loan sharking, gambling. He had a crew of guys. Yeah. But they were stealing cars and shipping them to Kuwait. They were doing a lot of crazy things.
I am okay with all of that stuff. I really am.
Yeah.
When you get to substances, it just takes me back.
It's hard to turn it away.
No, it's not.
It's the money.
It's terrible.
It's quick money. Yep, it's quick money.
I've seen too many good people.
Well, 3 years ago, my sister died of an overdose. 2 years ago, my brother. And this year, my other brother committed suicide. So I come from a family of 11.
They made the families too big. They expanded the families too big. That was the problem. They should have kept it lower and tighter, because now you got guys. Look, you're only as good as your last envelope you kick up, right? Well, if the gambling operation or this is not really producing like it should, and you're not kicking upstairs enough bread,
but that's what it is.
You do what?
But that's what it is.
Yeah, the thing is, they look to make money, but look, let's face it. The way the organized crime from the 70s on up, I mean, it was always about money, but even more so nowadays. So you got to go where the money is. You're not going to turn away that money, unfortunately. In the 50s, maybe it was, a brotherhood. They were together. It wasn't about money. It was about, honor and respect and everything. That went out the window, and now it was like, show me the money. And when it becomes about money, well, what's going to make you the most money in the quickest amount of time? Drugs. There you go.
Okay, but then they're not street hustlers. So street hustlers are involved in gambling, bookmaking, gambling, loan sharking, traveling card games. This is all after hours clubs. This is enjoyable things.
Let me ask you a question, though, Tommy.
That make the underworld money. You know what I mean?
They could say the same thing about Prohibition.
Yeah.
I mean, the mob made a lot of money during Prohibition, and alcohol is a very dangerous drug.
Alcohol is dangerous. Would you put it on the same level as heroin?
Yeah.
Really?
There's nothing worse than a DUI driver killing people.
No. Take that aside.
I mean, it's pretty brutal. I think that they're both deadly. One probably works a little bit quicker, but alcohol destroys families from within.
I know.
Alcohol's way forget it. Any drug I'm on, I've never done drugs, but let's say I did a drug, I could drive. If I'm drunk, forget it.
But I wouldn't try. But if I go out with a lady friend and have a bottle of wine versus fucking shooting heroin in my arm, I think there's a difference. No?
Yeah, it could take a couple drinks. You could drink a couple drinks and say you took some medication, and next thing you know, you can't even see on the road.
Well, you shouldn't drive at all. No. Forget about driving.
Yeah, but people do drive.
Take driving aside. Move driving aside. driving is you shouldn't be, right? If I go out with a lady friend to a nice dinner and I have a bottle of wine or a glass or whatever it might be, versus the two of us shooting heroin in our arms, I don't know.
Yeah, but,
I think it's okay. I'll admit it's the overdoing of drinking or doing drugs or anything. If you do it in moderation, you're okay. It's when you
moderation, but there's no moderation in heroin.
No,
there's moderation in drinking because we have self-control, but there's no moderation in heroin.
You know what it comes down to? Two drugs that destroy families, and you could even put cigarettes in that. Cigarettes destroy lives.
Gambling,
your health fails, you die of cancer, but it's just a slower killer. Cigarettes take 30, 40 years to kill you. Booze could take, everybody's different with booze, but how many people do? We were just talking about the Westies. What wiped out the Westie? Booze. They all died of alcohol poisoning. It's like
Gazoo's a smart guy. I've seen him personally, and not personally like together, but I seen him on the screen. He's really nothing to look at. And
Anthony Ramundi,
Avatar is needed, but he's very smart.
Anthony Ramundi says I'm right in some ways and wrong in others. That's a matter of opinion. It's okay.
Hey guys, I'm gonna drop a link. If
this is exactly what it is, right?
One second, hold on 1 second. Vinny Green, if you're still here, I'm dropping a link. Man. Just jump in. Vinny Green is like you, Tommy, and Joe.
Vinny Green is way more than me. He might be Tommy's level, but me, forget it.
What the heck is my level?
You know a lot of stuff.
Well, I'm a regular guy.
We have 210.
You're Italian. Hey,
I've been in a cell for 9 months. They tried to break me with sleep deprivation. They didn't do it. Well, I'm a regular guy, right?
A lot of people would think Stigs is your real last name, so they think you're Irish or something. You know what I mean? You got to put a vowel on the end.
Giuliani, you can Google it. And the first thing you'll get is I stood up and I didn't break. They couldn't break me.
Did you have the opportunity to rat, Tommy?
Of course, absolutely. They fucking banged. Sorry again. They banged on my. They banged on my cell at night. Sleep deprivation, and then they talk to me in the morning. You ready?
Yeah,
I'm ready to go back to sleep.
There's content creators, if they run a stop sign and get pulled over, they're ratting. You know what I mean? So, or cooperating, giving up information about everyone. The cops are never going to not look at good information.
You could take my left leg. I will never disrespect my family, my name, my reputation. And when I got out, I got the tattoo on my arm. Your reputation is your wealth, because it can be your poverty also.
So Richie the Boot killed his victims at his home and burned them?
I think he had a crematory there.
So give us a little detail on Richie the Boot.
What up, I like the Boot?
Richie the Boot was the Genovese boss in Jersey. He came from Naples, I think Naples. He was actually an orphan in Italy. And he was like a god, like a pope to our neighborhood here in North Newark. He was a Genovese guy, aligned with Vito, I'm assuming, or who was before Vito Genovese? That's before me, but aligned with Vito Genovese, and he was just that guy. He gave back to the neighborhood. He opened restaurants in the neighborhood. And
what happened to him in the end?
No, he died as an old man.
That's it. He killed people in his homes and died as an old man. What's the odds? You got to give it to him, I guess.
The thing is, you got to make
I think they put him on trial at 90. Lee, you might get some great information if you research him. You really would get some.
Yeah, could I ask you guys a question? Completely a different subject, but
yes.
There's a lot of rumors that Jimmy Hoffa is buried in Jersey.
Oh, right? Can I say one thing?
What they do? Kill him in Detroit and drive him? What? They put him in ice. They kept him on ice and drove him.
Yeah, think about it. We have all these car plants where we can melt metal, or we could put them in a car, get a chance of getting arrested with a dead body in our car, and drive to Jersey. It's just
call Tommy Stigs. He'll send you to the Meadowlands. He knows the area.
Meadowlands.
There you go.
They could melt his body in one of those plants in a second.
The Meadowlands is right there. Like I can walk there, right?
And why did they pick the Meadowlands? I said, okay, we'll do it. Yeah, I can picture. They said, yeah, take them to the Meadowlands. Drive on the highway for 12 hours.
Andy Girard, that's what I said. Andy Girard was a gentleman. Antonino. Andy Girard was a gentleman like we'll never see before.
Yep. There's a lot of guys. They're just not well known in the books and papers, but they're out there.
And I guess some people on the chat know, But Andy Girard was the second in command to Richie the Boot, Biardo.
Seymour Scaganetti. The Genovese are top shelf for a reason. That's why they are called the Ivy League of the Mafia.
Absolutely, no doubt. First-hand experience right here, no doubt.
Do you think it was because you had to be a different kind of guy to get made in the Genovese family?
Maybe.
They just surrounded themselves with quality guys.
Yeah, you weren't hanging out with them for a year or 2 years or 5 years. They got to know. They got to know who you are.
Were you saying the Genovese family maybe have been a little more educated? Because a lot of gangsters are not educated.
Street education or common sense education.
Even educated guys get tripped up, and they only need 1 or 2 times, 1 or 2 mistakes, and that's it.
They are the best of the best. There's no doubt about it.
But another thing is, so let's say you're in a neighborhood like Bensonhurst, and you're a wise guy, and you have loan sharking, gambling, you're in construction, you're doing pretty good, and you're not involved in drugs. And then some other guy gets involved in drugs, and his money instantaneously is at a way higher level than you. The mobsters' egos, they can't handle that as well. They don't want, they don't want to be outdone. And unfortunately, that's why they had to take drug money. I mean, Sammy Gravano, the people in his crew, he says he didn't deal drugs, but he had a bunch of drug dealers in his crew.
Oh my God.
Okay, guys,
I know that's a fact.
I got to play a classic for you. I haven't played this in a while, so we're just going to do it.
Jersey Girl, hold on. Let me answer this girl real quick. Jersey Girl 732. That's the garbage hauling, right? If it is, yes, I do know them.
Jersey Girl's good. She's a good girl, Jersey Girl.
So if she's talking about the Dentes, I wonder what her name is. I don't want to call her name out, but I might know her. I may have hung out with clubs with her. But yes, the Dentes, yes.
I want to play this clip for you guys. I haven't played it in a while, and then you can tell me what you think of it.
Great clip.
What do you think of all these wars all this fighting going on between everybody?
I got serious problems in the streets. I'm not worried about any. I don't pay attention to the stuff going on YouTube.
When you say you have serious problems, when you say you have serious problems in the street, what do you mean by that?
Well, I got beefs with guys that I tell stories about that are still in Cosa Nostra. I got beefs with drug dealers that I mentioned in my stories. These guys, you don't want to be mentioned, don't want to be talked about. And the guys that I don't hear from or get messages from, because I get messages all the time. And the ones that I don't hear from are the ones you got to worry about. You think you just can talk about these guys and walk around the neighborhood like it's okay? Listen, I tell everybody, you may think the life is dead, but the people that involved in it and were involved in it aren't dead. They're walking the streets.
So do you see something happening here pretty soon where something bad's going to happen because of all this shit?
It's terrible.
Wow, that was on point.
And see, that's one of my favorite. I took that out of a video when I interviewed
the drug dealer. I have no respect. Oh my
God. Right. And there's no doubt. But he's saying that it's only a matter of time before one of these rats get a bullet in the head.
It's a matter of when.
Yes. And these are just. I'm just showing you guys some of these clips. Now this is a.
That's great. Lee, this is a great. Lee, hold on. Pause a minute. This is a good show.
Okay.
I think
take it from the guys that live in these areas, okay? Don't take it from the books or whatever. Trust me.
Forget about it.
They're around.
This is
they didn't go anywhere.
That's what I say. A lot of these guys get their information from Google.
Yep.
Okay, which is great. I got 2 more videos to play for you.
Go ahead, man. I love that one. Okay, Lee, that one was awesome.
These 2 are pretty good too. Here's this one for.
Sure. Do
What age you are, you're always battling it. You're always worried about
each week.
it happening again. Fast and Lilo had an agreement not to talk about the officer.
That's
Guaranteed.
Judy. No, it's not Judy.
The fuck?
Yes, it is. Of course.
This is
Why
your
am I
opinion.
on there?
Yes, I said this is my opinion,
What?
Jeff. Did I say it was your opinion?
It's not
Am I
you.
allowed to have an opinion?
What's that? My trial?
Okay. Ask him to do this show.
What the fuck is this?
I don't.
Julia,
No.
it's not you. It's a TV
No,
program.
absolutely not.
Movie.
I did this on my own because it's my show and I can do what I want to do on here. So,
Great
Kane-
one, Lee.
Kane
You-
said, but this is my favorite one. This is the classic. This is my good friend Jimmy Calandra. Here we go.
Yo, Lee Cole, you fat piece of shit.
Guy Cole, he'll do anything for subscribers. You got Ted Bundy, he sits on his ass all day, he probably shits himself.
This interview yesterday with Fatso and Stacks.
That fat fuck destroyed all the interviews. I won't be giving no interviews to nobody ever again. That's done. He's the type of guy, he will put anyone on that show for him to get subs. He's nothing but a rat. He probably needs to go take a shower, go buy a bar of soap, and go clean your ass. You ugly fucking duckling, you.
That's what I do, Lee Cole. You fat piece of shit.
Hopefully God strikes you and you fucking disappear.
I'm not going to give certain people any life on YouTube. I don't want to mention their name.
Yo, Lee Cole, you fat piece of shit.
I can't with
That's
him.
a man of God right there.
I can't with
That's-
him.
Huh?
I can't with him.
Hey, listen, I take pride that I got underneath his skin so bad.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So there's 100 other ones that he's done on me since then. He just did one a couple days ago. For some reason, he hates me. And
Talking about guys from my neighborhood, but not in a bad way, but just putting their name out there. Respectable guys that did 25 years with. He was in there with them. There's no doubt about it. Jimmy did time. There's no doubt about it.
He did time.
No doubt about it. And he spoke pretty highly of the guys from that I know. You know what I mean? But just to put them there, you're bringing them down to a level that they don't deserve to be at. That bothers me.
I have one other one too. I have
And
one
he-
other.
and he's a rat.
Yeah.
Not informants. They're rats.
So, what do you think about him being in Angel Gotti's chat room and there are no issues?
Again, Angel can do her own thing, do whatever she wants to do. I don't know. I did time in Essex County, 9 months.
Now, Jimmy did 6 years. I
No.
think it
Somebody
was.
asked me here where did I do
Oh.
time? Whatever. Jersey, Essex County.
I appreciate you guys are keeping because I'm having a hard time keeping up.
I just glanced, Lee. I just glanced. Actually, I'm talking to you guys. I just glanced over. I don't know, man. Nikki Mita, yeah, of course, Nikki Mita, of course.
And here's the reality with Jimmy Calandra though. He could do a video and put it down, and an hour or 2 hours later, he has 5,000 views.
Okay.
I mean,
So what?
yeah.
Lee, you got quality right now, man. I think slow and steady. I'm going to say it again, slow and steady.
I just want to let you guys know, yesterday after our show, I picked up, I think I sent it to you, Joe. I picked up 14 subs off one show, new subs.
Yeah, he thanked me. He said
Yeah.
it was all me. I said if you didn't have me on yesterday, you would have had 44 new subs. But he's happy with 14. Okay.
No. Well, if you get 14 in one day, that's a lot off a show. Usually
Lee.
want to get 1 or 2 or 3.
Lee, listen, slow and steady. Slow and steady.
Well, that's
Well-
how I move.
Don't play into the nonsense. Don't even pay attention to that garbage. Once you pay attention to that garbage, they win.
Yeah.
Slow and steady. Got a good
Well,
show
I
As
here.
crazy as it sounds, could you, if let's say, I know you want to have a bunch of people in the chats or whatever, but then we wouldn't be, taking questions would be so difficult because when there's 1,000 people in the chat or more, the comments go by so fast.
I know.
At least now we know our friends are with us.
Listen,
you know what I mean? So
I told them all they could email me. Some people have my number. Lee has my number. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not hiding from anybody. If anybody wants to reach me, they can. They know how. Tommy.
I asked for your information. I've been waiting for 4 months.
From who? Vinny? He's sleeping.
Vinny.
Yeah,
Vinny.
The difference
God
between
bless him.
Tommy. The difference between Tommy and Joe is, I'll bet you Tommy doesn't have a sneaker collection
or a jersey collection.
My son does. I'm a little past that. Joe, I'm an Adidas shell toe guy. You know what I mean?
Yep. Sorry to hear that.
I'm a blue suede Puma guy. You know what I mean?
I'm a blue suede Puma guy too, my friend.
What size sneaker do you wear, Joey?
13.
Oh, so you got I'm the same way.
I'm a 12.
Oh, you're in, Lee.
Yeah.
You're getting a new pair of Jordans next week.
Dude, man. Oh, I'll give
you got to wear
address.
on the show, though. That's the thing.
Oh, my God.
I'll get him the new pink ones. Yeah, that's it. The new pink 4s. I'll get them.
Why not? I'd wear them.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Nowadays, you see people dressed up all sorts of ways.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
But I can't do it. I cannot go out looking like a slob. I got to shave every day. Joe, no disrespect to your goatee. Lee, no disrespect to your goatee. I got to shave every day, whether I'm going to sit on the couch or go out. It's just me.
I'm thinking about it.
Hey, I got that too.
Let it be, guys. Be natural.
Yeah, I'm nervous. I don't know. I just bought it. I might not use it, but I keep it close by in case, If I was on drugs, I'd probably do it by now. I'd do it blonde.
Gray is distinguished.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey,
look, I got wings here. I got wings over here. You see this?
Tommy Walnuts. What's up, Tommy Walnuts?
Tommy Stigs. I'm going to ask you about a gangster, and I want you to tell me about what you knew about him in the streets. He's a very famous gangster. His name is Anthony Riamonde.
I don't know. I saw only what I saw online. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't answer that, Lee. Lee, you got me on that one, buddy. I can't answer that one.
No, I hope you can't. If you said he was, well, we got Anthony Raimondi here, but this ain't the real Anthony Raimondi.
No, Anthony Raimondi, he said something. Anthony Raimondi said something to me. I don't know what it was, but so later you can go back and look. Later you can go back and look in these, Lee. I don't know how this works.
Hey, Tommy, what do you think about these guys that are coming out making all these claims about what they did as gangsters because all the gangsters are dead and can't say they didn't do it? Like Anthony Raimondi, John A. Light, people like that.
They're just trying to capitalize on this this situation that's going on right now, I think.
What's your opinion of John A. Light?
Whew, that's a tough one. I don't know.
I think my opinion is this. I think
he was a legitimate street guy.
Exactly.
I'll give him that.
Without a doubt.
But being as close as he was, I'm not sure about that.
No way. He embellishes without a doubt.
I won't take away his street abilities or reputation. I won't take.
When I seen A Light on that show on Netflix, and he was saying what happened, that he got surrounded by like 20 ghosts and he went into the woods and got into a gunfight. I was like, what the fuck? And he was looking at the camera and it was like he had this half a smirk, like he was doing it on purpose just to piss the Gottis off.
Somebody's asking me about Larry Dentico. Little Larry. That's his name is Little Larry on the street. Tommy Coati. Little Larry. He lived in Seaside Park, New Jersey. And again, guys, I'm not giving any information that isn't already known. Keep in mind, I did not cooperate. I can only give you from experience, but Little Larry was serious.
Well, I respect the fact that you do not come out and say stuff because these guys are. Is he still alive?
Larry's dead.
Okay.
I think Larry died.
Recently, though, I think he died.
A couple of years, maybe.
Yeah, a couple of years, yeah.
But it's amazing though how many people you know.
Me?
I mean, yeah, I mean the names you come up with. I'm like, you're in New Jersey. I've never heard of none of these names. Joe, you've heard of these names though, right?
Seymour Butts, I've heard of him. Yeah,
That guy was fucking deadly.
he was bad.
Lee, Joe, I was everywhere. I was everywhere. You know, being an associate is a little different than being a made guy. Once you're a made guy, you're spoken for, and you don't have flexibility. So I was an associate back in the day, and I was able to maneuver between everybody and everything. That means card games, bookmaking operations, this, that, the other thing, everything. When you're an associate, you can move around more. When I went away, I was an associate. When I came out, they gave me the opportunity to go legit because I did not open my mouth. I did my time, and they gave me a release. They gave me options. One of them was a release. Fast forward, my brother was doing constructions on his house up in the country, way out west, Essex County. There's a guy on a backhoe with a cigar in his mouth, tattoos all over his arms, and sunglasses, and dark glasses. And he says to my sister-in-law, "I see the name over here, Stigliano, Tommy Stigliano." She did not know what to do. She panicked. She went inside the house. She called me. I said, "Give me the description, blah, 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 blah." "Okay, that is such and such. He's a Genovese guy. Tell him everything is good." He got a whole retaining wall built about in his whole backyard on the house.
Yeah. Well, hey, like I said, if someone owes me money and they're coming up late, I'm mentioning Tommy Stig's name. I'm getting that money that
Nobody
minute.
owed me money. They forgive my debts on the street. I went away. I did my time. They banged on my cell every friggin' night. And I did my time, and I came out, and I had options because of the way I was. So I don't know if that means anything to you guys, but that's my experience,
Oh, I can tell you. Did you know any of the upper people in the Gambino family?
In what area? I was friendly with everybody. Everybody.
Did you know who John DiGiorgio was?
That's a New York guy. That's New York. Yeah.
That's a Vicky Gotti's brother.
Yeah, that's New York. In Jersey, remember, I'm a Jersey guy. So
well, I just want to tell you, I worked for him for 2 years.
Yes, I know.
But you know what his big thing was?
What?
His big thing were those damn calling cards.
Again, any hustle other than drugs, I'm cool with.
Well, he used to give them. I used to go up to
Porn?
I used to go up to Syracuse and stuff and sell those cards. But the problem was, I'd have a couple hundred of them. You hit them to the bodega, and the ones on top would work, and none of the ones on the bottom would. So and so they would give me like say 50 cents per card.
Lee, there's 5 good and 100 bad in those cards.
Yeah. That was some scam back then. And that was some scam back then. But see, he wasn't a made guy. He was just he was her brother. But
guys,
he was
listen, I will tell you honestly, it's better to be an associate than it is a made guy.
Without a doubt.
100%. I was obligated to nobody. Nobody.
Yeah.
It does have its pluses and minuses.
Yes, it absolutely. No, you're 100% right.
Hey, the stack shows Jimmy is the man.
Jimmy who?
He's talking about Jimmy Calandra.
Oh,
Fine. Everybody has their own opinion, and
man.
That's great.
I thought he was talking about Jimmy, a mob guy.
So Mobland is asking me what crew did I belong to. They have to understand I did not cooperate.
Hey, look at this wise ass. This wise ass says, "Lee, who would be older, you or Hoffa?"
Close. Oh, he's not an asshole, Anthony. He's just Philly in the house. Let me tell you, I'm protected everywhere I go, man.
Okay.
Mobland,
love you guys.
Okay, let me say.
I worked with everybody, Mobland.
Okay,
Everybody.
Don Vito. Why are you bringing up past beef with Jimmy Calandra? Don Vito, Jimmy Calandra was insulting me a couple days ago. So it's not a past beef. And dude, write something positive on my show once in a while. This is
Lee.
like this is the most
Lee.
negative guy in the world.
Lee, let me address it. Jimmy Calandra did his time. He has a page. More power to him. Let's see where it goes. He's not going to get a good panel like this going on right now because we're not going to go there. You right now, Lee, you have the opportunity right now to go on top of the game right now.
Yeah, and you know we've been at over 200 for well over an hour right now.
You're schooling me because I have no idea what that means.
I got to take this call, Vinny. I mean, it's Vinny, so just hold on a minute.
Okay.
This is great, Lee. This is what it needs to be. Again, I'll say, if you're on the topic and you enjoy it, roll with it.
Well, I just like, you know what? I just want to give people, I want people to know here, you know, the whole part of this genre is they want to talk mob stuff. I can't give them the information that guys like you can give them, but I can bring people to them that give them information. That's my job.
Exactly. They could ask me any question they want. If I can't answer it, I can't answer it, right?
Well, it's obvious that you could pretty much answer any of this because I have not seen you not know anybody. I mean, you seem like you know everybody that's been mentioned.
I was in the game, you know.
So, Tommy, what's your impression of Larry Dentico?
Larry Dentico, Little Larry, we called him. Little Larry. He was a Genovese captain. He lived in Seaside Park, New Jersey.
Oh, and you just mentioned him before, right?
Yeah. He's dead now. He's dead.
Right.
Dead,
Okay.
Unfortunately, yeah.
That's how far I'm behind on these. Oh yeah, Larry Dentico.
It's okay.
No, he said I think he's still alive. The guy.
Oh man. Like, oh wow.
In his 90s.
Yes, that's right.
And let me tell you something about Antonio. Good friend of mine.
Good.
And he knows so much stuff.
That's great.
He's a book of knowledge. Whenever I'm not sure of something, he'll tell me.
That's what you need here, Lee. Yes. That's what you need here.
Just want to let everyone know that was Vinny. He's laid up right now. He had to go to the hospital, and he's doing okay. Though he wanted me to let you guys know that he's okay.
All right, I reached out to him yesterday.
Yeah, and I want to say one thing. You guys might have won a battle, but now the war starts. Ding, ding.
For what? What are we talking about?
No, nothing. No, my man's in the hospital right now, so I'm just, when he gets home, then we'll be okay. Just worried about him, It's
What do you think of this thing right here? A-Light was a bigger gangster than Jimmy Calandra. Calandra was nobody.
Yeah, of course. No doubt.
So you would agree with that?
Give me 2 minutes. I'm going to refill. Yes, absolutely, Lee. 100%. A-Light was no doubt a gangster.
What are you drinking over there, buddy?
Apple juice.
Yeah. Apple juice. Yeah, man. I know that. Yeah.
Lee called that as thank you, Mob Entertainment Group. I appreciate you letting me know that.
Bill. Exactly. Come on, Rock. Get him, Rock. I spoke to JC last night. He's a good guy. Yep. He's a good guy. Listen, and I got to be honest with you, when you're on the phone with him, he lets you talk. You know what I mean? It's not like, when he's on a show. Lee, you're going to have to get better with muting the mic on certain people. Don't even tell him. Just let him keep talking. We'll keep. Nah, he's a great guy. He really is. I like JC. Smart guy, has good ideas. So.
Okay. Hey, any questions to Mayo, but you're young. HB to Westies heard he is happy. He's go lucky in prison. What can you say about the Westies on the street? Lee, you know how important this is to me. Watch Baywatch.
I would probably watch Baywatch if it was on still.
People don't realize how famous, what's his name was. What was the guy that started?
David Hasselhoff?
He was so famous in Germany. He had like when that show was on, he had a #1 hit. I met him.
Michael Knight. Yep.
I met I met him in Utica, New York, and I worked at this after hours place, and he came in with a group of women, and he was sitting in the back. And you know, the only thing I remember about him, the dude was so fucking drunk. Hassle. I mean, he was like literally spitting all over himself, sitting in the back. Really nice guy. And you know the thing, and people don't realize he's a very big man. He's like 6'5". Hasselhoff. He's not a little guy.
Yeah, he's a bit. I never seen him. You know, he's Michael Knight, so I'm in awe of him.
He has that awesome car.
Yeah,
Lee,
I think that was what it was Trans Am or Firebird.
Where was the after hours in New York?
Yeah, it was in New York, in Utica, the Italian side. Back then, they had back then a lot of Italians used to live up in New York, and upstate New York.
Upstate, yeah.
But if you check like Utica, there were a lot of families up there.
Are you familiar with Roxbury, New York, upstate?
I've never been to Roxbury.
I have a friend up there.
Yeah, I was in Utica and Syracuse, and I actually lived up there.
Sorry,
when my first wife and I got divorced, she moved to a little town up there to get away from me, and I followed her. And you know what was funny? When I was up there, I had a felony warrant on me, and I'm going to tell you something about my first wife. The United States Marshals used to always look for me, and they used to always go to her house. She knew where I lived, and she was a Puerto Rican from the South Bronx, and she knew where I lived. And they would come to her house and they say, "Do you know where your ex-husband is?" And she would always tell them no. And you know, and that's one thing I could always say about her. We had our fights, but she never told them where I was. She could have easily turned me in. And that's how much I wanted to see my son at that time.
Well, you had kids with her.
Yeah, and I only went up there because my son was like 2 years old. So it was like really, really tough at that time.
No joke, man. When you have a felony warrant, I had it. I had to hide out for 3 days in Atlantic City.
Not a good place to hide out.
Yeah, I hid out for 8 years, so I can't. 8 years. And you know the difference between me and most guys? I never drove.
4 days I hid up. Oh, well, I parked my car in somebody's garage.
Well, see, that's what mistakes people on warrants make. They drive.
Stupid.
Don't fucking drive if you're on a warrant.
Don't drive.
95% of people on warrants get caught in their car.
Stupid. Not even you could listen. You could be a passenger in a car. I would say don't even go in any car because I've had problems not driving as the passenger. I've had problems.
I had to get away though, Joe. I had to get away. I had to do something. I was a fugitive from. I had to get away a little bit before I turned myself in. I had to,
When I was up in Utica, I worked for these guys. They called them the Crash Brothers because they owned junkyards.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was so they were some. It was an interesting guys. But you know the charges that I had on me then, I don't even know if they would look for me now for those charges.
It's a different world right now.
It's a different world, exactly.
See, I can't post in the chat right while I'm on.
No, unfortunately, no.
That's okay.
Oh, yeah, actually, you can. Yeah,
it's okay. It's okay as long as we can answer. We're good.
How
long we going, Lee? You enjoying the show?
Hey, yo,
I'm gonna go 2 more minutes.
Thank you, homie.
Why? Why do I stop?
Thanks for the info.
We'll keep it going a little bit. Okay, it doesn't matter. We'll keep it going.
Whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do.
So,
whatever you want to do, Lee.
Joe, did you ever have any warrants on you?
Never.
Damn, Joe.
Not one.
It's a rough thing.
Never spent a second in any type of jail, prison, nothing. Never did any crimes. I lived a good life.
I don't recommend it.
2012, I was in a San Diego court, and I was out, and then I went back to the court. This is the last time I was in trouble in my life. And when I went back to the court, my lawyer came up to me and he said to me, "Oh, they're going to send you back to Colorado."
Oh, man.
So I said to them, "Hold on." I went to the bathroom. I walked down the steps and left the courthouse. Yeah. And they caught me in Colorado.
That's federal?
Yeah. No, they caught actually 2 bounty hunters from California followed me to Colorado.
Because you had bail on somebody? Somebody had put your bail up?
Oh, it's a long story. It's in the newspaper.
Anyway,
They had me in the front. They had me on the front page of the. This is what's funny. FBS will say they had me on the front page being cuffed, and FBS goes, "Lee's never did no time." It's like, dude, I'm on the fucking front page of a newspaper being busted.
You don't need to prove yourself.
You know, and it's just like
you don't need to prove yourself. That's not what makes it here. What you're doing right now is what's going to make it here.
You know how good it feels not to have warrants? I've had warrants a good part of my life.
Of course I know. How good it feels.
You know, do you remember when you have warrants and you're driving and all you think about is getting pulled over?
Warrants, parole, probation, fines. I've had it all. So yes.
When I get now, I'm nervous. I'm still nervous when I get pulled over.
Of course you're nervous. It's a natural instinct.
Yeah, and once you live that kind of life where you do things. And I never did little things. I didn't like take $20 from something.
It doesn't matter what it is. Once you are a fugitive or wanted or this, that, and the other thing, once you're not, it's a totally different feeling.
Oh, it is.
But we still have a guilty feeling.
And you can't run. You can't run now like you used to be able to run. Because like when I used to be able to take jobs with fake Social Security numbers and not have to worry about it for a year. Now you walk in a place and give your Social Security number, they know who you are. You can't do now what you used to do in the 80s and 90s.
So the criminal mind is a wonderful thing, right?
Yeah. I remember I used to be able to use fake names to get a phone bill, to get a phone hooked up.
I had a cell phone on a fake name. It's crazy.
Yeah, but now you can't do it.
You can't do it, and I wouldn't want to do it. I don't want to jaywalk. I said it before, guys. I don't want to jaywalk.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't want my kids to see me in a cage. That's it. Very simple.
I don't ever want to be in one. Just being when you're wanted. I remember one thing a lawyer told me. One time he said to me, he walked up to me and says, "You're white and you're free. What the fuck are you doing?" I always wondered what he meant by that. But then years later, I understood because these poor guys in the city, I mean, we're going through the system and stuff. Like I was in Queens House of Detention, and you see the people coming through the system there, 90% maybe minority. And then, you're the lone white guy sitting in the cell and stuff. But, I remember him telling me that, the lawyer, and he just meant, look, there's no reason. I was working, I had good jobs, but I always wind up getting caught up in something. Agreed.
I was an Italian American in the system, in the prison system. County jail is brutal. There's no joke with county jail because when you're in county jail, you're mixed in with everybody, everything, and it's a matter of survival at that point, right? Yeah. I've seen guys get their heads split open with mop ringers. I've seen guys get their heads split open with mop ringers and the mop bucket thing. I've seen everything.
I want to answer this. Lee, how is Deanna doing?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that too.
She's actually has had a long fight. I mean, now she's still on oxygen. She has damage to her lungs, and she's the only person on her floor who lived. And if anybody was going to do it, she's 10 times tougher than me. But she survived it. And now the scary part is with this new strain that's out. If she got it, it would kill her.
I lost two this week to COVID. 2, 65 years old and 48 years old. I lost one to an overdose and one that's just hanging on an overdose.
With this COVID thing, when I was going to the hospital, all I remember is to see all these people laying there on these ventilators dying. And I remember talking to the priest that was there, and the priest was at that hospital for 40 years. And we had a nice conversation. I remember him telling me, I've never seen anything like this ever. And 40 years this guy's at this hospital. I mean, that's how bad it's been.
You're 100% correct. County jail is no joke, especially Essex County, Newark, New Jersey. Lee, you're right. I have a friend that works at the morgue, and he said I was on a Zoom with him last night. A lot of guys from my old neighborhood, we got on a Zoom last night, about 6 of us, just shooting the shit. And he said A year ago, there were reefer trucks. Reefer trucks doesn't mean joints; it means refrigerated trucks loaded with bodies.
It's a lot worse on the East Coast where you are.
Yeah,
you know, it's really bad. Yeah,
bad here.
Luckily, this part of Texas I'm in, people been getting it, but they've been living.
I'm laying low. My son has it right now. My ex-wife has it right now. Just trying to be careful.
That's the key. I mean,
if I get it, you guys, I'm done. If I get this package, write me off. I'm done. I won't.
Do you have underlying illnesses?
Yeah, I got heart issues. So.
Oh, you do.
Yeah, I got high blood pressure, leaky valves, it's a whole bunch of shit. But yeah, if I get it, this is all you're gonna see of me right here.
So,
look at the wise ass. Dog the Bounty Hunter has Lee Coldfree's poster above his bed. No.
Lee, how you doing in the chat? We good?
Oh, I'm trying to catch up here. I'm just trying to get some questions up.
No, how are we doing as far as the content, and is it?
Oh, it's good. It's so.
How
like
much
always,
money are you paying? What's our cut for today, Lee?
Huh?
What's up, mine and Tommy Stig's cut for today?
I'm gonna give you.
If cut him out. He doesn't deserve shit.
Okay, Joe. Here's what I did. I'm gonna go to Walmart and get you a nice, sweet pair of sneakers.
I was at Walmart 6 a.m. today.
Wait a minute. You're going to Walmart?
I'm a Walmart fan, guys. I'm a Walmart fan.
Anything Route 66 is me.
That's Kmart. Walmart was Route 66 was Kmart. Walmart's a different.
Oh yeah, okay, there you go. I knew it was a mart.
You know what, guys? I'm gonna call it a night because my dogs are really bothering me. They're being real bitches.
What kind of dogs you got?
He heard about the money. He says, "Let me get the hell out of here."
No, I have a rat terrier. That's Polly. Come here, Polly. Come here.
Tommy's like, "You better give me my money."
This is Polly right here. Come here. That's Polly right there.
Hey, Polly.
Hey, Polly.
Polly is the bravest dog in the world. And then I got a lab who runs away from
Wait, now Polly, like, how do you spell it?
Polly.
Okay, because I have friends out west, real quick. So the name Paulie, right? Pally, they say Polly. Like, hey, this is my friend Polly. So me, like an idiot for years, I'm like, hey, what up, Polly? Thinking it's Polly, but that's why I asked. So
that's the Brooklyn in you.
Yeah. Polly. I'm thinking like Polio Brigot. You know what I mean? I'm like,
hey guys, I like to thank you both for being here.
I hate to go, Lee. I'm enjoying this, but you know.
Hey, listen, I might do a live tomorrow and make it 3 days in a row. If you guys have got nothing planned tomorrow, what do you say? You want to do a live with me tomorrow?
Lee, you got my number now. Anytime you hit me up, if I can do it, I'm glad to do it.
Yeah, Joe, if I keep doing shows.
Joe, pull your page up. Let's get it going.
It is up.
All right.
I went to go live last night, and they said I had to wait 24 hours.
Okay,
so whatever you want to do.
Joe,
pull it up. Yeah. Let me know I'm in.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm gonna.
Hey, Joe, tell them where they can find your page.
Bay 8th is the channel right now. That's not going to be the name of BAY space 8, the number 8 and a TH, all in caps. Now, that's not going to be the name of this channel. But what happened is everybody has been subscribing to Bay 8th because, you know, I have some wonderful people, Redzilla, and there's a lot of people promoting the channel under Bay 8th. So we're going to keep it that way for right now. Till I do a show, and I've been asking, like, you know, the people that listen, my friends in the chat, help me out with a name, and I've got like 1,000 names to choose from now. So thank you guys.
Joey Snacks.
Joey Snacks, definitely has going to be Joey Snacks.
Go get.
See, look at MB right there. You go.
Go get my number from Lee or
yeah.
Vinny.
I'm going to get it now. Yep.
All right.
You definitely involved. I want everyone involved. So you too, Lee.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna hold up. Tommy, I'm gonna hold your number up now and let everybody see it.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about that. I'm not worried about doxing and all that other bullshit. If I don't want
to someone dox.
I do. I don't answer your call.
Listen, when they dox my number, people people were sending me dick pics.
Fuck them. I don't give a shit.
I'm like,
Sorry.
I mean,
again.
You can
I
get.
hope I
It's
didn't
not
put
like
words
you
in.
don't have to do that much work to
I
get someone's
don't care.
number.
Lee,
It's
Lee, you
like
can
it's
put my
out
number
there.
right there. You good, Lee. I don't give a crap. You can put my number right there. I don't care.
no, I would never do that though.
I don't care. That's not doxing. I don't give a crap. TommyStigs@aim.com. If any of you guys want to reach out to me.
I like this one.
Tommy
Someone-
Stigs, I'll get it from him. Don't worry.
got
Lee,
it.
you got to text it to me, Lee.
AIM.com. If you want to email me, TommyStigs@aim. Lee.
Wait a minute, 1 second. The Albanian syndicate gave me $5. Lee, this is for Joe's sneakers.
Yeah, Dad won't even get a piece of a shoelace. Let me tell you.
Not even
But
at,
thank
not
you.
even at Walmart. Not even
Exactly.
at Walmart.
$5, yeah. When the
Joe, my
government gets
son-
their cut.
Joe,
But
my son
thank
makes
you.
me go down to 14th Street to get sneakers. Is there a store down there in Manhattan, 14th Street, Lower East Side?
I'm sure there is. Yep,
Yeah, there is.
definitely.
Okay, Joe, let me ask you.
Flight Club, I think, might
Let
be
me ask you
down
a
there.
sneak, let me
Flight
ask you a
Club.
sneaker.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a sneaker question.
Mhm.
What is the hottest sneaker right now?
Reebok Classics.
Okay, now, yeah, exactly.
No, something that somebody wants right now.
Adidas. No. The thing is this. See, the sneakers that I get are not so much the hottest sneakers because what kids wear now is completely different from my style. I'm a retro Jordan guy, which means those were sneakers that came out 20, 30 years ago, and he's re-releasing them to the
97.
public so you could get them. So what the hot sneakers are right now?
97s?
Yeah, probably. Or Air Force Ones have always been big. There's just so many right now. I don't know what the kids are wearing. I mean, I guess they all wear Jordans and stuff. That's probably the top seller out of anything.
Tommy, about how old are you?
I'm 52. I'm 52. I'll be 53 in June.
Let me ask you a question. You remember when we were kids and stuff and sneakers just started coming out?
Yes.
It wasn't a big thing.
Yes.
Because, see, I can remember when we didn't know what Nike was or there was none. The big it was Pro-Keds and Converse.
Pro-Keds, Converse.
Yeah.
Who is it? What's his name? Chuck Norris.
Chuck Taylor. Chuck Taylor.
Chuck Taylor.
Those are still popular.
I had Chuck Taylor Converse, and I had to go through a store that sold QC rejects. We were kind of poor, so we went to a place that sold Chuck Taylor. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah.
Chuck Taylor.
Yep, Chuck Taylor. Converse All Stars. Chuck Taylor.
Chuck Taylor QC rejects. That's what we bought.
Rejects. I used to have rejects.
I remember my family was so poor, they used to take me to ShopRite to buy sneakers.
No, I go to ShopRite every day. What do you mean for?
Remember when ShopRite used to sell clothes? ShopRite used to sell clothes at one time.
I don't remember that.
And food, clothes and food.
You could get a TV at ShopRite.
And at that time, it was Peekskill, New York. That's where the
Listen,
ShopRite was.
Lee, real quick, let's go back to the Westies, okay? Just for a minute.
Yeah, go for it.
Jimmy Hires used to get all of our swag clothes for all over from the West Side to Newark, New Jersey. Jimmy Hires used to get us the swag off the trucks, buy and sell. Swag clothes.
Yep.
Yep.
And did you didn't have to put no money down or nothing?
Buy it right out of a trunk.
Were they good prices?
Good prices and good quality. Right off the port.
You said you wear Puma baskets?
Puma
suede.
Puma suede,
Yeah,
blue, baby blue, Adidas. Puma suede, baby blue are my favorite.
I have Puma suede, the blue with the gray Puma stripe.
I like the blue with the white stripe.
Hello?
Yep. I can't have white shoes anymore.
We're holding Lee up big time right now.
No, it's Amy. It's Amy from Social Security. She's telling me that someone's trying to steal my number.
Really?
How do you know who this person is on a Saturday night?
Anytime Social Security calls you on the phone,
yeah,
the only way Social Security contacts you is through the mail. Don't ever
you got a nice bump up, like 6 or 7%, huh? Social Security for inflation.
Yeah, well, you know what it is. They want to make everybody happy.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they give people on Social Security more money, but all the shit that you have to pay, like if you pay for your medical insurance through Social Security, that the premium went up. So
They want to keep you quiet. That's all they want to do.
it's the cost of
Just wanna
living
keep it
increase,
quiet.
but it never really works out that way.
And you know what sucked for me is, whoops, I can't. Can you hear me?
I hear you perfectly.
Oh, you know what sucked for me is I spent some time in my life wanted, so I had to use. I was lucky. I got 20 years of work in. But what happened to me is because I was running from the law for so many years, I used fake Social Security numbers, so I could never get paid for those jobs through SSI. So basically, I got 20 years. I just made it, actually 21 years. Jesus. Otherwise, I was screwed.
Lee.
But that's what gangsters, this is something we should talk about real quick. Gangsters that do all this illegal shit and stuff, it might be great at that point, but they'll go their whole life without working. So when they're retired, they're not getting shit from Social Security. They're getting the smallest amount because they never put into the system.
They're not typically making it or depending on just Social Security, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And
I heard that from a boss, okay? Like a real boss guy in the street, like a real good fella. He says, Joey, he says, you take the easy way out when you're young. When you get my age, meaning his age, which was in his 60s or 70s, if you didn't work or whatever, it becomes the hard way.
Especially
there's not 60, 70, 80-year-old street guys. They're not really around that much.
Especially with insurance. So SSI insurance of any type, you're fucked.
I always worked.
Insurance.
I always worked. No matter what I did on the street, I always had a legit job. Always. Oh, I was at work. I was at all night social clubs, after hours clubs, but I definitely made it to work every day, 6:30. Every day.
Joey's House of Cards. Thanks, D. Allen. 1,001 I have to choose for now. Joey's House of Cards.
Lee, how long are we on? 2 hours?
2 hours and 16 minutes. I got to go. Okay. Everybody, thank you. I could talk to you guys forever. I appreciate everybody here.
Joe, hit me up.
Yeah, I will. So if we're going to do this show tomorrow, that's great. I mean, I have nothing to lose to come on. Just my wife, my house, and my family. That's all. So I'll be there.
I'm a middle-aged. Joe, I'm a middle-aged, divorced, American Italian.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it.
With a history.
That's yeah. I knew it.
I'm a middle-aged. I wish. Divorced.
I'm worried about calling him. He might invite me out. I'm worried about I won't make it home.
I've been divorced 4 times, guys.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and 2 of the women were keepers. They were great women. So when you have a good woman and you fuck up and you get older, you're like, what the fuck did I do? And then you see this woman in a great life and you realize you had that great woman. I've had 2 of them. I've been very lucky. But because I was such a big asshole.
I got me a nice 18-year-old.
I'm at a point where a lady friend is the
right out of high school. I got her. I'm a lucky guy. One time I'll be married. That's it.
Lady friend is my terminology now.
Well, one good thing though, this remote control, that's my woman right now. But anyway,
I have 2.
Oh my God.
Hey guys, take care, man.
Lee, great show, man. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it was good.
The numbers are great. The numbers are
even
great.
if the numbers weren't good, I got to hang out with good people, so that's important too. You know what I mean? The numbers will get there.
Joe, I'm gonna come out there. I go downtown more than I go into Brooklyn. I go to, I go Lower East Side. So, but
you're gonna come to Staten Island? Please don't. Please don't. Okay.
Anytime I need an hour's notice, I'm there.
And I like to thank these loyal bastards that have hung around.
Yep.
In their chat room. You guys are fucking awesome, man.
Yeah,
Stigs, I'm gonna get in contact with you. I'm gonna get the info from Lee.
Okay,
right, thank you guys.
Joey, I'm gonna email. I'll text that to you. Okay.
Appreciate it,
guys.
So, guys,
jump on. Awesome. Have a good night.
You too, man.
Thank everyone. Lee, Tommy Stigs, Jeff, people in the crowd, NB, everyone. Thank you.
Take care.
Have a good night. Thanks, Lee.
Once again, everybody, Great show, high numbers throughout. We were like 200 and above for almost an hour and a half. I'd just like to thank you all. And you know what? Everybody's always bitching on me because they say I don't do enough lives. So we're going to do another live tomorrow. That's 3 this week. And Monday night, I have an interview with real guys, if you know what I mean. And they're going to be on here. I'll drop tomorrow. I'm going to advertise who I have on Monday night. Some people know, but I'm really looking forward to Monday night's show. The people coming on, they have a very big channel. Great, 2 of them. And they're going to be on here Monday night at 7:00 Eastern. But tomorrow I'm going to come on and do a show. And I'd just like to say thank you to everybody. Take care, people.